Welcome to Boxing Fans Talk TV. I'm your host, TDT. You can refer to me as Miss T. Welcome to the building. Y'all see the thumbnail? Oh, wow. Shakur Stevenson. Moving on up. Moving on up to the east side. But anywho, before we get into that, y'all know the drill. Let's turn to. What's good? What's good? It's Boxing Fans Talk TV. I'm your host, TDT. You can refer to me as Miss T. Hey, y'all saw the thumbnail, but y'all know at the top of the hour, we always do a water check, water check, water check. I know that I say it every day, but it bears repeating. Hey, look, 2 times a day. If you ain't a big water drinker, that you must drink water, and that's first thing in the morning. Before them toes hit the ground, get up and drink you 8-ounce glass of water. Chug it on down because your body is like an engine. You want everything to move like it's supposed to, and the water is the lube. The second time of the day that you drink your water is at night before you go to sleep. Your final rest for the night. Not when you're looking at TV, not when you doing something else, but when you're ready to lay it down for the night. Going to drink you another 8-ounce cup of water. You know, the American Heart Association recommends that. It's good for your heart in the long run. You want to establish a good routine. And a lot of reads are going on at night, revamping, recharging, rebooting, cleaning out the toxins in your body. An average person burn between 900 to 1,000 calories a night. Hey, that's what you want to keep going. That's what you need in your life. Um, but here at Boxing Fans Talk TV, we advocate for 100 ounces of water. And I know I be saying it every day, and I mean to say it every day. Because guess what? Y'all gonna think about it during the day. Repetitiveness, it works. It works. It definitely works with children, but it works with adults too. So drink your water, water, water. And don't forget to like, share, and subscribe if you haven't already. Go ahead and hit that subscribe button. Please like and share. And when you watch me on the replay, leave a comment. I do listen. I'm an open-minded person, but I am still just plain no TT. So go ahead and lean on my leasy when you step into the heezy, or just plain old hit the like button when you step into my square circle. Can you do that? Can you do that? It don't cost you a dime. For those of you who are watching me on Facebook, come on through to the YouTube channel and hit the like, share, and subscribe if you haven't already done so. But that way I can notice you. But shout out to anybody who wants to watch me from the Facebook channel. So let's get into it, shall we? This is not gonna be a long show today. Unless, the train get the moving. Once the train start, I don't be stopping no trains. Hold on 1 second. Let me go ahead on and open these phone lines because sometimes folks they rather just call than to go ahead on and beam in. And let me see, let me test it. Did y'all hear that? The phone lines is open. So anyway, so imagine my surprise, because I know it's been some controversy here lately with Shakur Stevens and Dante's Boxing Nation. And if I mention your name, on my show, I try to be respectful. I'm not one of them shows that I feel like I gotta put somebody down, to build myself up. But when you calling people out or exposing their lies, I don't call that putting down. I don't call it putting down at all. Sometimes you gotta name names to be more specific as to what issue you are addressing. But and I'm just saying for me, not anything with anybody else. I'm just it ain't my vibe, and I hardly ever mention people's names. But if I mention your name, I try to be respectful and this, that, and the other to everybody, whether I like you or not. And there is people out there I don't like. But I don't like you enough to put you down or devalue you or anything like that. So as I'm talking about this subject, keep that in mind. So we know that there was some controversy with Shakur Stevenson and Dante's Boxing Nation. Now I did not see what he said first, but I can guesstimate what he said based on what Shakur said. I will agree with Shakur. Like, if y'all have a rapport, any kind of relationship, and you got that person's number, you can do this stuff behind the scenes, not necessarily online for the world to see. You might have had a good message. Sometimes, especially when you older, Shakur, just so you know, people tend to say things like older people give unsolicited advice a lot, but they mean well. They mean well sometimes. I don't know the gist. I don't know. I can only go by how Shakur felt, and that's how he felt. That's how he felt. Now, I saw his, and I said, "Well, I agree. Y'all could have did it behind closed doors." And then I saw Dante's boxing's which column, so I'm gonna make an assessment on that a little bit. And again, not try to be disrespectful, Dante Boxing Nation. I don't dislike you. I don't, I don't feel no way either way. You know what I'm saying? But I feel like you made a response to Shakur, but you didn't keep it with Shakur. You dabbled into other, folks and stuff that didn't really have nothing to do with it. It's almost like, when you step in something, you try to bring everybody in, everything else. You kind of stepped in doo doo, dog. And you brought others into the fold and into the mix and everything. And I'm not trying to take up for the people that you was talking about, but I mean, they really didn't have nothing to do with what you and Shakur was talking about. I believe that you did a little projecting. I believe that you did a little damage control. I believe that you were saving face. And all of these things are not terrible things, but this is just how I saw it. Because you guys put it out there for the world to see. And so you probably would have did better to keep it with you. But like I said, you did it how you did it. I don't feel a certain way, no kind of way about it. But the people you were talking about felt a certain kind of way. And so I just felt like you did a little too much projecting, damage control. And at the end of the day, you was trying to save face. And I always say this, and this is something that I had to grow up with while I was in the Navy from a young pup to when I retired. And that is, they used to always say, you can go from sugar to shit in a night. You can go from being the baddest mofo to the worst person in the world overnight. It can happen, whether you're in the military or not. These are things that can happen in real life. And so I think you was trying to do damage control for your brand and all that, as you should, and all that, because he actually just called you out. The other folks you was talking about, I didn't really get that, and It ain't my business, so I'm really not gonna pontificate on that a whole lot. But Shakur Stevens, he's hot in the news right now. And I said all of that to just talk about the fact that he's hot in the news right now. And behind that controversial thing that just happened with Shakur Stevens and Dante's Boxing Nation, Shakur has decided to to move up and weight. Now, Shakur is another one that I feel like Tank Davis. I used to say, Tank Davis, you can actually clean out the division at 130, get the undisputed, whether it's fanfare or not. You guys are young. Get it over with now. And then move up to the next weight, clean that one out in the next weight. I felt like Tank could do 130, 135, and 140. But guess who else I feel that way about? Shakur Stevens. I don't feel that way about a lot of people, but I feel that way about those two gentlemen. And I think, Shakur, you can clean out 130. I always say work first, play second. Finish what you start. No matter what somebody say, in the end of the day, you all are chasing legacy. All of you boxers are chasing legacy. And this new change in Shakur, uh, this is not drastic. He just has a different perspective. That's because he's living his life, y'all. He's growing up, as we all are. Okay, how old you are, you still growing up. But he's growing up and he's a father now and he's about to be married soon. So he has a different perspective. As a father or a mother, you don't want nobody dissing you in public, potentially messing with your brand that you work so hard to get. I mean, no parent wants that. I mean, they take it more seriously because it looks like you're messing with the ability for me to feed my family. That's what it kind of turns to. So it was a shocker to some folks to see Shakur call somebody out. You have a lot of YouTube channels where people are saying this and that about different fighters, but a lot of times the fighters don't ever say nothing. They say stuff inadvertently, or they let their fans get at you and shit. You know what I'm saying? But now Shakur, that's not the first time somebody probably have said anything about him. But he had to call him out. That's a man right there. He feel like, I'm a grown man. I'm about to have a wife. I got a child. I'm somebody's father. I can't have you doing me like that. So um that to me was the reasoning that the fatherhood can change you, I guess. I know motherhood does, so I'm assuming fatherhood can as well. And look at his new perspective on his career. Now, I was the one hollering and clamoring, Shakur, do not move up. Fuck what Bob say. Clean out the division. Because Bob, you're in your 20s. Bob is in his 90s. And I'm not wishing nothing bad when I say this about Bob. Bob at the tail end of his life. You're pretty much in the beginning stages of your young adult life. You have to do what's best for you. You want to secure a legacy. Documentation is going to be all conversation. Nobody's going to care in 30 and 40 years about how somebody felt back then. They're not going to care about my feelings, your feelings, other content creator feelings. None of us are going to be a factor. But what will be a factor is your record. Because once you earn it, you can't take it away from somebody. It's kind of like what I say, like with my degree, you can call me whatever, better call me educated. You know what I'm saying? You can never take that away. I don't care how you feel. You can think I'm the dumbest person in the world, but somebody says different. And I got the proof because I have the documentation. And that's what I mean. Like when y'all fighters out there in your career, this is what I be saying. Like, man, get what you can get while the time is now. Strike while the metal is hot. And Shakur Stevens, you can definitely clean out the 130 division. You can't let them dictate how you move. They move how you want them to move. Because it is just that, your career. However, in the end of the day, you're a grown man. And it is your career. So whatever you decide, any fighter decide, I can't be nothing but happy for you. Now that's easily said and done. But we know when it comes to Bud and Earl, shit, if either one of y'all decide y'all ain't gonna meet link up, we ain't gonna be happy for you. But we'll have to get over it one day. But I'm just telling you ahead of time, we ain't gonna be happy. As boxing fans, we ain't gonna be happy. So, sometimes that's applicable what I said before, and sometimes it's not. When the fighter decides what they want for their career, we have no choice but to be happy. If you like it, I love it. That's the attitude we gotta have. And so, Shakur Stevens, if it's Bob's idea, I don't like it. If it's your idea, I'm on board. I can't do nothing but support you because you, of all people, know better for your career than me, Bob, and anybody else who can weigh in and chime in to give their opinions. So he's gonna move up. He's gonna move up, and I can't help but wonder how much of it is him and how much is it is influenced by his promoter. Is he going along with what they saying? But then I think about it. I say, this man just had a baby, became a father, got a little princess. Congratulations. And he's about to get married to his baby's mother. Congratulations again. And this man got to feed his family. He only have a short time to do it in because boxers have that shelf life like women who want to have children. When women who want to have children, if you don't have it during the teenagehood, which you shouldn't, it's ideal not to. But all babies are precious and supposed to be here. That's how I feel. And so if you take a woman's age from 20 to 35, that's a good age. Brand that's the age you want to strike while the metal is hot. You wait anything past 35, you're running to risk. You're running into a lot of risk unnecessarily. So like women have a chef life if they want to start a family, boxers have a chef life to be in that sport. Matter of fact, most sports, men have a chef life to be into that sport. You ain't gonna stay young forever. You understand? So to me, do all the hard, grimy shit when you're young, because youth is a hot commodity. You can't put a price tag on youth. You really can't. So Shakur, like I said, he's moving up in weight. Is it Bob's idea or is it mainly him? Because the more money is in the upper weights, the opportunities to gain a belt is in the upper weights. You're a family man now. So suffice to say, that would be your perspective. That would be your desire or what you want to do. It ain't just you no more. You always got your kid to think about. There will be more kids. You know what I'm saying? So you want to provide, and flourish in your career. And so you have to find that you have to thread that needle where you can do both and all that. But I'm just saying it's kind of shocking. We it's a dawn of a new Shakur because he answered right back to Dante's Boxing Nation. He checked him with the quickness, and then he turned right around and he's saying he's going to make this power move soon. Now he has a fight coming up in September with Conseco, the one that Oscar Valdez fought, and clearly a lot of us felt that Conseco won the fight between Oscar Valdez and him. So I guess Shakur is going to knock that out the box. But then where else do you go? There's people he could fight, but getting to the fight is slim to none. And that's the way boxing is. Like, there are fights to be made, but the people who ain't even putting the road work in, they ain't in the gym making something happen, them the ones that act like we paying to see them. They seem like we would rather do what they want and do what they say. Even though they're a promoter slash a manager, They're a fan. They have to. All they could ever be is a fan, just like us. You ain't doing that hard work. I don't want to come see you, Bob. I want to see the people who putting in the hard work and dedication. That's who I want to see. I don't want to see nobody else when it comes to boxing but boxers. But I commend you, Shakur. You know what you're doing. You've thought about it, I guess, and just fight often. Strike while the metal is hot. Don't squander your youth. If you get through a fight real easily, like you did Valdez, you should be back in the ring the next month. Get it over with, y'all. Y'all want to know what gonna take you to that high level, especially in pay? Go back and look at the dates. Don't just talk about the fights that Floyd fought. Go back and look at the dates when he fought them. He went pro October 11th, 1996. Go back and look from that day forward. And in them first 2.5, 3 years, watch how you saw him on the docket several times over. Every month, damn near. 1 month, he fought 10 months. It's 12 months in a year. He fought 10 fucking months. I think he missed August and I want to say December. But he fought 10 months that whole year. And if they're not paying you a lot, let's say your pay is something like 100,000 or maybe 50,000, well, multiply that by 10. And then ask yourself if you won't have some money. So sometimes when they're not paying you a lot, there's a way you got to be. When they paying you a lot, you can fight once a year or twice a year. When they not paying you a lot, you should fight more often. I understand if you get a cut, you got to sit down for a minute. If you break your hand or break something, you got to sit down. If you concuss, you got to sit down. Those rules are put in place to protect you. And you should take advantage of it. But if you get through a fight and you ain't cut or hurt, line that shit back up. Be ready to go in a couple of weeks. You can't say you out of shape. And when you talk about a complete fighter like Shakur, it's going to be easy for him to adjust to anybody. He knows how to do everything well. So, although I personally, and I'm just T, nobody to you, but although I personally feel that you should go ahead and clean out the 130 division, I support you in moving up to try to get more money and get bigger fights. Because no matter where you go in boxing, you're going to do well. I believe that. You are what I call a complete fighter. And you can be exciting. I don't see that you're a knockout artist. But see, this is why when we be talking about it don't matter, it really don't. But some people be like, it's the end all to be all. But like when you talk about Devin Haney, a lot of people would say he boring. But to people who are real boxing fans or real, like experts in boxing because they watch it, they're like boxing fanatics, they wouldn't call him boring. Maybe some casuals will. But here's the thing, Devin, and whoever else listening. In order for you to have that big success, you got to bring the casuals. And just being plain and doing a couple of fundamentals to win a boxing match, it's not going to catch you. Sugar Ray Leonard knew that. That's why he used to do the bolo. That's how he used to shake. That's why he used to go back and forth and shovel his feet like Muhammad Ali used to do. That's why Muhammad Ali used to talk shit. It's that extra shit you do. You know what I'm saying? That for me does not apply to somebody like a Terrence Crawford. That motherfucker do everything well. I can see every little detail. Like I be watching it like that. His fights is exciting because people be trying to rip his head off. They really do be trying. Now, Shakur right now is 18-0 with 9 KOs. He holds the WBC and the WBO super featherweight belt. Think about it like this. If the 130 division is such a lackluster division, How come you can't get those last two belts? It should be easy. You're a big name than all the other people that they saying that are not big names. They should make the fight with you. I mean, you should run that shit back to back. Do one month, do one another month. That's a nice piece of payday for that person who holding the belt in your division. Clean it out, drop the belts, move up to 135. But again, you're going to do what you do, and I'm going to support you regardless because your heart is in the right place. Okay? And I understand what you're doing. You're moving up. And if y'all seen that thumbnail, that boy big as hell, huh? He big as I don't know what. It's a career move. It's a money move. And I understand. But when you get to 135, don't fuck around. Finish that shit out. Clean it out. Strike while the metal is hot. Get your undisputed and move up. Do what you got to do. Right now, I think you a two. I think Shakur is a 2 division world champion. If he move up to 135, I have no doubt in my mind that he'll be a 3 division world champion. I don't know what Devin's going to do. I know Devin has to fight Kambosos in a rematch. I heard that Kambosos activated his rematch clause. Whether the fight happens or not is neither here or there, but that's what he has in front of him. Now, if they don't mix it up this year, Devin need to move on to maybe defend his title, or if he feels a need to move up. Now, to me, what I want to see is a Devin Haney Shakur Stevens fight, or I want to see a Tank Davis Devin Haney fight. With those 3 guys, that's what I want to see. And you got new guys and new prospects moving into y'all's division. You know, I could say don't worry about them right now. They have to work their way up. But I mean, anybody who's gonna put on a good fight, do it. And to these black fighters, stop being scared to fight black fighters. That shit is exciting. That shit is exciting. Do not let them tell you that it's not. Don't let the powers that be tell you that it's not, because that's not true. I mean, most of the big time fighters of the past were all black on black. That black on black crime is all good in the boxing world. So, hey, don't be afraid to mix it up with them. You should mix it up with any fighter. But I don't like this notion that black fighters do well only if they fight Latinos, or the only fight to make is with a Latino, maybe even a white person. That's hogwash. Anybody who train and dare to be great and wants all the smoke should get all the smoke. It don't matter their color. And when I'm saying it don't matter their color, that means y'all black fighters start mixing it up. We want to see it. Y'all, who told y'all? They can't speak for us. They can't say we don't want to see it. Ain't nobody asked me. I'm telling you right now, I want to see it. But good luck to you, Shakur. Hope everything work out. As far as Dante Boxing Nation, I don't have no disrespect or no harm or disrespect to you. You know, we're just talking about the latest events and everything. And I do feel like you was projecting and saving face and doing damage control. But you guys put it out there so we can make a comment. Okay. So, breaking news. Maybe some of you guys already know. I remember I did a show about the WBA back then when that robbery, that egregious robbery went down with Mikhail Fox and that dude Maestri. The WBA been trying to change things. They've been letting it go a lot of their interim belts, and they were just trying to scale things down. They was trying to rehire different new judges because I don't know how you don't know somebody is racist as that judge was. You dealing in boxing. Boxing is for everyone. So if you got somebody who only like a certain group of people, they don't ever need to be a judge. They don't ever need to be a referee. And this is something we got to fix in boxing. That's got to be beyond reproach. And it can be. It can be. You can vet your potential refs and judges. You can vet them to see how they live in their life. I suggested a long time ago, why don't you make them get a secret clearance? It don't have to be the highest clearance, But the same people that do the clearance for the government is the same people who would do it for the civilian world. But people with a clearance act differently. They try to be beyond reproach because when you fuck up and you got a clearance and it's some fraud, waste, and abuse and some lying and some cheating, it affects you worse. That would just say it like that. It's going to affect you worse. So if you can make your judges get a clearance, because with a clearance they're gonna check you, they're gonna vet you, they're gonna be all up in your shit, and then there won't be no surprises. This is why I suggested it in the first place, because somebody's gonna do a background check on you, a thorough background check on you, and a thorough background check would have found quickly that female judge shouldn't have even been a judge. And I heard they let her back. But anywho, that's the issue or the albatross hanging over the WBA head. And I thought they was in Venezuela. I kept saying it too because that's what it said online. But apparently they were in Panama and Panama City. So, you know, it's all to the good. But WBA is now moving to Texas, United States of Texas. General Big Fish, what's good with you, baby? He said, Miss T, what's good? What's good with you? Hey, the WBA is moving over there in y'all neck of the woods. They moving their headquarters. Now they said from Panama City, Panama, to Houston, Texas. They moving back to the USA. They one of the oldest of the four belts. Um, like I said, Houston, Texas. They was founded in Rhode Island in 1921. And like I said, I really thought they was Venezuelan because when I'm throwing salt on their ass, I be saying the WBA is the Venezuelan belt or the highest bidder of the Latinos when I'm throwing salt. And they're 100 years. They just celebrated a 100-year-old existence. That was last year because, like I said, 1921 to 2021, that was 100 years. Before then, folks had belts like, I could be saying this wrong, NABF or something like that. Y'all can correct me. But them long names, those were the titles that people got. The WBA was a coveted belt. And when you shit on it and have cheaters and all that shit, you make it worse. I mean, what good is it? You can't, I mean, you desensitizing people to the relevance of your belt. You're making it be worth nothing when you allow shit like that to go on. So, by history purposes, it's a coveted belt. By late history, history as of late, is one of the bullshit belts. And they've been under scrutiny, rightly so. Just like the WBC. They're riddled with corruption. And they act like they want to play dumb, like they don't see this shit. And I don't know what this move to Texas is going to do. Y'all folks in Texas is conceited as it is. I'm just playing. I don't know what it is about Texas people, boy. I swear they think they the only state in the union. I do feel that one, but I was just joking with the conceitness. I do like that y'all rep y'all teams and all that, but hey, we going too far. Like I said, we can't have no more racist judges. And that means you basically saying, black people, you can't be boxers. On the order of your skin being black, you can't be a boxer. Because if you're not gonna give people fair share, you got to address this issue, and it can be easily addressed. So when they get to the states, I'm gonna need everybody to get it their neck, especially people in Texas. I'm gonna need them to get to a point where these sanctioning bodies stop having favors. So they bouncing all around. I swear they was in Venezuela last year. Now they in Panama. Now they back in the States. What the fuck? That's a lot of uncertainty. But you need to bring it back home, and we need to get it their fucking neck. Don't come back here with the bullshit. To me, that's more serious. You're fucking with people's lives when you're doing that shit. These Latinos, Not all, but enough. Enough of them in this boxing world is on some racial superiority shit. If somebody better shaped than you and they better physically fit than you, then goddamn, it is what it is. Jim Thorpe was one of the best Olympic athletes at one point in time years ago, probably close to 100 years ago. This man was good at everything. He was like a bow nose type person. Jim Thorpe was Indian. Caitlyn Jenner, aka Bruce Jenner, was a decathlon winner. You know what you got to go through to do that shit? That means you are the shits across the board. And he was white. There's room for everybody. Not to mention 77 years of the 20th century. That means from 1900 to 2000, blacks were champions. 77 years of that. Blacks held the championship belts for 77 years. It is what it is. I just showed you Indian, white, and blacks. A lot of times the Mexicans think it's their way or the highway. It's not us saying it. You guys are saying it. Not all Mexicans. Oh, stand in front of me. You got to fight like this. Who said? Who said I got to fight like this? But that's the only way you special. Who says? Well, it was us. I mean, if you want to make history, make history. Nobody's stopping you. But you ain't got to shit on nobody and cheat and go through all these changes to do it. And these sanctioning bodies shouldn't be sanctioning that shit by helping the process along. So you damn right I'm looking at the WBA making this move. I'm looking at every move the WBA, WBO, and WBC makes. I hardly have time to even concentrate on the IBF because fucking with the other three. D Low 404 Boxing says salute to you too, King. Top Class Film says straight facts. Salute to you, King. Welcome to the building. D Low's got the thumbs up. So I'm focused on their moves. I'm focused to see what they doing. They're making it complicated. I'm not even a professional boxer. I've never judged the fight. I never ref the fight. I can come up with ideas. You don't have to be a boxer to come up with a way to make things more legit. Maybe this Daniel Canahan shit is gonna clean up boxing because he didn't pull the fast one over a lot of people's eyes, letting boxing clean his shit, clean his money. Now they don't like that shit. Some people don't like it. The governments don't like that. But everybody act like you can't regulate boxing. You take it one step at a time. Integrity is everything. And to me, WBA need to earn their integrity back. As well as the WBC. Those two right there are on the chopping blocks of getting some kind of modicum of respect back. Because they lost it. D-Lo said focus on the foolery because that's how those sanctioning bodies move. Yeah. Yeah. They sure do. Not to mention you trying to cheat my Uncle Sam of his tax dollars by calling yourself a non-profit, but you bringing up all these belts and finding a way to charge people. You damn sure ain't no non-profit. You profit. You profit all day long. But I'm going to need you to run Uncle Sam back his money and pay him in nickels. That's what I need you to do. WBC and WBA and whoever else is trying to avoid taxes. Now, the WBO is in Puerto Rico, but United States, that's a territory of ours. And the IBF is in New Jersey. You don't hear too much about them. I ain't saying they perfect, but you don't hear too much about them. I've been watching. You suspended that racist piece of shit that judged that fight last August, and you brought her ass back. So what that tells me, you haven't seen Mikhail Fox fight since then. I haven't. I saw his brother. I haven't seen him fight. Why the fuck would you rip that shit from out of him? That was his passion. That was his career. And you guys fucked it up for what? And then you move, I'm going to say you move from Venezuela to Panama in less than a fucking year. Now you're in the States. Now you're coming back to the States. What you hiding? Oh my God. Look who here. What the fuck?
What's up, my good sis?
What's going
What's
on?
up?
Where you
I can't
been?
hear you cooking.
Huh?
Girl, I see you was cooking, but child, I've been going through it in my stupid ass car. I'm ready to get rid of this motherfucking shit.
Hey, the WBO, WBA moving next door to you.
To me,
They moving to Houston, Texas.
child. Ooh. You know, I don't like this old sorry ass city.
Now you
I'm
can go
trying
down there. You
to
can go down there personally and knock on the door. But like, what the fuck y'all doing?
So they moving from like they in Nicaragua or somewhere in the South America, right?
They
No?
used to be in Venezuela, I thought, but then they said
Okay,
they moving
Venezuela
from
too. That's
Panama. They said it was in Panama, so then they moving from Panama to Houston, Texas, and they credit two people. Oddly enough, some guy named Diaz. I don't know who he is, but the other one they credit Jamel Charlo.
what?
Yes, they do. I read this article. I said,
Shit.
what he got to do with it?
Tell me about this story now. This is some good info. Some good tea.
They credit him for moving. The guy name is Juan Diaz. That's one guy, and they credit Jamel Charlo for helping them pick Houston, Texas, as the
Mm.
place to go to come back to. They credit him. Yeah.
Okay, well, you know what? Shout out to them moving to America. Maybe, but you know what? It don't matter where people be at. Corruption is corruption. America is just as corrupt as the next nation. So
Yeah, but
boxing
they're
is being
easy
full
to
of
reach
shit.
out to. They become easier to reach out to when they're in the States. Like when they be fucking off and shit, they go run back to their ragged ass country, and then we can't get at their neck and shit. But you ain't where the fuck you gonna run to? This ragged ass country ain't no way you gonna run to.
Girl, sis, did you ever cook on that when I dropped that jewel on you about your little buddy and his payola?
You got fresh in my memory. You dropped a couple of jewels.
The one with Jerry Jones buying out his seats.
Oh no, I can let you do it. Let me get these shots, and then I'm gonna go ahead and let you cook. Hold up.
Yeah.
D-Lo 404 boxing say Kinahan been moving around in boxing for over a decade. True enough, Tyson Fury blew up the spot tweeting about that AJ fight and thanking him for making it happen. That's why they on the no fly list. Good riddance. Exactamundo. D-Lo said, IMO, they never made things even halfway right for Mikhail. They didn't. Never did. I thinking we gonna forget. Nigga, I ain't forgot. Um, they may implode in Houston. Yeah, I mean, fuck. I'm gonna send Destiny over there, my Juan Baby Bull Diaz. Yes, that's that dude's name. And I don't even know who he is. And they say, yeah, America does corruption quite well. Yeah, but it's easy to get at them. Jump on the bandwagon with Canahan and talk about their 501c. Uncle Sam love to find his money and that you've been trying to hide. But go ahead, Destiny, cook on this Jared Jones thing. I
Okay.
couldn't cook on it because I ain't know enough.
Okay, so I dropped a jewel on Miss T. But what was that, about 2 weeks ago, Miss T?
It probably was about a couple of weeks ago.
About a couple of weeks ago, y'all. It's an article. She actually, I don't know if you still have the article information, but I do.
Mm-hmm.
They're talking about, but the butts and seats things. You know how Spence puts butts in seats.
Mm-hmm.
Well, apparently Jerry Jones is the one that puts butts in seats. He brought every last ticket for Spence. I guess that was the Ocampo fight, if I'm not mistaken.
Oh
Was the
wow.
Ocampo he brought all the seats. I mean, it was over 12,000 some people in attendance. The article said he literally brought and he needed 9,000 to break even. So
Ooh.
um if he did that one time, do y'all really think he's not still doing it? Do
Oh
y'all really
shit.
think he's still doing? He's definitely still doing that shit. I
That's why
mean,
they like to do it in Texas. I mean, who broke this story?
it was a Dallas article. So somebody, I think it was the Dallas Star. I'm not. Don't give me the lion though.
Are
There's
they a
somebody in
credible
Dallas.
source?
Yeah. They're a real newspaper and stuff like that out of Dallas. I can send it
Mm.
to you again, my good sis.
I mean, you sit there. I'm not in Dallas. I don't know how the Cowboys Stadium work. I remember when he fought our compo, and they was acting like he put 100,000 people in the seat. At first, that's what I was gonna think, but then I saw that it was the arena where they practice more so than where they actually had the football games, right?
See, the arena is really, really big, from what my understanding is. So yeah, you may sell out a section that you pay for. So say you have like, it's different sections like the arena here in Houston, right?
Mm-hmm.
So it's so many difference to the arena that I can't think of the name of off the top of my head right now. But one section may only have like 20,000 seats, right? And you say you don't want to rent this part with 20,000 seats. But people say, oh, they sold out the arena. They're not talking about the whole, because I think this arena here, it's over 100,000 some people. So they're not talking about that. So they're talking about this the section that they rocked
They
or
rock.
rented. So yeah, I think that's how the Dallas one is, but don't mark my words on that.
Yeah,
I'm
I
not
remember the a compo fight. It could only hold that particular place. They said could only hold 15,000 people.
it was 12,000 and
But you
I want
said
to say
12,000.
49 people. That was something like 54 people in attendance. I mean,
Yeah.
it was 12,000 something that was in
Well,
attendance. And
that video that I've shown, a couple of other people shown, where Errol Smith, I say Errol Smith, Errol Spence was the first video when I was aware that he was putting down Terrence Crawford. It was like 4 years ago, and he had the
uh,
blue shirt. It was like, who was he for? I fought Chris Algieri. I fought, he was devaluing Terrence Crawford, and I remember thinking like, why he doing all that? And I did a whole video about that and say, I don't understand it. I'm gonna ask you. You live in Texas. Is it a Texas thing or is it him? Like I don't understand why he don't see that when you put somebody down just to build yourself up, that's not cool. And the reason why I'm bringing it up because we all just saw the fights this weekend, right, with Frank Martin and stuff. You
yeah.
saw what he did, and he didn't stay up there long, thank God. But I was like, damn, nigga, do you ever learn? Because he was talking about Rolly and Frank Martin. And he was like, who Rolly fought? Why we going down there, Earl? Why we got to talk about that? Rolly fought more people probably than Frank Martin. I'm not saying that Rolly is better than Frank, but Frank is just starting his career. Am I correct or not?
Yeah, I think he started late. I believe they say he started at 20, if I'm not mistaken, or somewhere around
Yeah,
there.
yeah,
But
that's
yeah, he's
that's cool.
27. That's so good, sis. He's 27.
But he don't
Well,
have that many fights. Actually, instead of us
yeah,
guessing,
what
let me pull
17?
up his box
Right?
rec.
Huh?
Let me pull up his box rec.
Yeah.
Frank Martin.
You're right. He doesn't have many fights. I believe it's something like 17 or 18. Yeah, he's very low on the totem pole.
Yeah.
But he didn't look that great against fucking Marinez. If Marinez made him look like a sucker MC, could you imagine what a skill fighter would do to him?
And Marina is the one that beat Rolly.
Yeah, he beat the hell out of Rolly, and they know it.
And they
That was
lost.
a
And
complete robbery.
they robbed him. Hold on. Frank Martin. The American. Yeah, they call him the ghost, right?
Yeah, the ghost.
Okay. All right, he's 27 years old. He
Mm.
has he has 16 fights.
Mm.
Okay.
When did he go?
Hold on. I'm gonna actually try to pull this shit up, and we're gonna look at his box recs, just so y'all can see. And I can do this. This wrong tab.
Y'all hate, like, comment, and subscribe to my good sis page. She's good lady.
Yeah, I know. I know. I'm going at a tortoise pace, but it's okay. It's all good. Um. hmm.
Girl, now you know damn well I can't see that shit with my blind ass. I had to get right up on the TV.
uh, y'all don't see this.
I see somebody named Jerry, some Perez, or Tyrone, somebody, a Raymond.
Yeah, I'm gonna I put it on the same thing. So hold on. All right.
Yeah.
So look, I'm going up. All right. At the bottom, you got John Edward Lockett. Who the fuck is that?
Not
Darnell Pettis. Stop me when y'all say see somebody that's so profound. Darnell Pettis, Mundo Martinez, Karen Arrington, Kendrick Latchman, Jermon Hawk, Fran Cruz, Deshaun DeBose, Larry Ventus, Pablo Capu, or whatever the fuck his name is, Raymond Yanong, Tyrone Lucky, Jerry Perez, Ryan, ooh, Wesky. I'm just say Wesky. I'm say the last part of his name. Romero Duno, Jackson Marinas. Who the fuck is any of them?
a whole bunch of nobodies. And let's be realistic, Jackson Marinas is the only notable name on his whole box spec right now.
And that was his Saturday.
Right.
So again, somebody explained to me, and this is why I get upset. Because Earl, you do this all the time. I don't get it. They ask you a plain question. Nobody asks you who better. Who Rolly fought? Who the fuck Frank fight?
A whole bunch of
Why you gotta knock people down to build somebody else up? I don't like that shit.
And now he's trying to play victim or whatever, like he's a victim of, the YouTubers, the crazy ass Spencerholics and stuff. Now he's trying to play, oh yeah, facts. Bro, you was the one who put that false information out there in the first place, talking about some sign the contract. I already signed my contract.
Exactly.
Well, how? You already signed a contract. That means you had a contract before you even fought fucking Ugas.
Did y'all see the video clip where he said we in negotiation, straight contradicting himself? Go back to this weekend fights and listen to everything Earl say. He straight lied to y'all. He straight lied at the end of May when he said sign the contract, boy. You know what you was doing. Why do you do that? That's my question. He might be a good dude, but I don't get why he does that.
But now he's trying to play victim with the YTC channels. Nigga, you put this false narrative out there. And it didn't even make sense. Like, I mean, how do you have a contract with no fucking term sheet, first of all? So y'all was already like had a fight squared, how did you know you was even gonna beat Ugas? You know what I'm saying? Like, seriously, like, so that means you already had like a term sheet and a contract. And who signs a contract, this early? Most people don't sign a contract till like a week before the fucking fight or whatever. It's just like everything's agreed upon, on the term sheet or whatever. I mean, this is ridiculous.
He moved quickly when he wanted the Ugas fight. When he want what he want, he moved quickly. But this is why people, I'm telling you guys, like this Frank Martin statement that he made is not that big a deal. It really ain't that big a deal today. But 3-4 years from now, what would it be? You just try to put down Rolly's record, who he fought. Why do you do that?
Who have you? I mean, seriously, yeah, like he was fighting all, top-notch fighters. How many undefeated champions he beat? I don't think any to get his bouts.
He fought everybody who fought somebody else and lost.
Right.
Everybody mostly. I can't even think of somebody undefeated that he fought. Like, I ain't saying that it ain't, but I can't think of one. But that shit is that's what I want to say. Who raised you? In my TK Kirkland voice. Because I don't get that shit. Why do you gotta put somebody down? And I have to speak on it because you're an abuser of it, and you did it again. But you didn't stay long, and that might have flew over some people's head, but it didn't fly over mine's because you said who Rolly fought. I said we're gonna put down the people Rolly got in the ring with. They really deserve that from you.
That part right there, like, bro. At least Rolly fought Tank. Shit. I mean, you gonna say he fought Tank? At least we can say that one nigga. You fight Tank? The whole leftover thingy. Your boy's fighting Rolly's leftovers. Like, I mean, who just got knocked out by fucking Richard Comey? He was coming off a loss, if I'm not mistaken, right?
Well, who? Which one?
Jack Marina. I believe he had just lost to Richard Comey. Yeah, he was just coming off a loss. He was knocked the fuck out. You know what I'm saying? By Richard Comey, of all people.
Yeah. We want to like Frank Martin, but don't fuck it up, Earl, because you're going to make people just don't like him. Because Frank, if you start picking it up and start acting like that, it's a turn off. You just started late, just like Deontay, and you're an excellent fighter. I see you, boo boo. You doing good. Nicely shaped.
Games.
Huh? Yeah.
He better get away from Derrick James because he didn't look that good against a C class fighter like Martinez. Yo, he's
See, I
finally
don't
stepped it
even
up.
think I think Martinez is a better boxer than most
No,
people
he's
think get in
a
there
much
with.
better boxer. Yeah, he's gonna have a problem when he gets in that ring with a pure boxer.
Yeah.
It's gonna be a long night for Frank. I mean for Frank. That flat footed shit that you know how they teach him
Mhm.
how to fight.
Yeah. But there's no
Gonna be a,
need for that shit. It's like no need for that. And don't none of y'all check your boy. This is where the controversy starts. He gonna have haters that he should not even have. Don't nobody like that shit. Don't nobody like it because you guys are arrogant and it comes off conceitness. Like, oh, who they fought? Like, I'm just so perfect. I do everything perfect. Who the fuck he fought? I just read his resume. I don't know none of them motherfuckers. But I know some people that Rolly fought, and I'm not
hmm.
even trying to cap or big up Rolly. But why do that? I'm just saying, y'all better peep game. I'm marking time. Y'all gonna remember that I said this video. If this shit go left or right, when you start hearing Frank Martin start talking like that, you gonna be like, man, fuck that nigga. That's what people gonna say. And is it me or is Errol Spence big as shit? Damn.
I
He,
mean, he do look pretty. He do look pretty small though. I mean,
he
I
look
was
huge as a motherfucker.
just to like 160 or whatever.
He don't look like he in no 140s or 50s. I'm gonna put him at damn near. I'm gonna put him in at least 170. He look
You said
big as hell.
I think now I don't know about 170, but he
He
do say he
do.
walks around 190 though. He did say he walks around about 190. So you're right there. You're absolutely right.
He because you know why I can tell he's tipping over. Now, I don't know if you're trying to walk like that, but you tip over when you I know about weight gain.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
Weight gain can make you walk differently. He's stepping over a bit. You know what I'm saying?
He said he walks around at 190. That's what he said, DJ. Don't
He
argue
looked
with
like he could be, but see, I'm being nice and saying he at least 170. D-Lo said that who he fought talk gets old. It don't it though? It's
me.
funny. And he said it's blurry. Um, Martin is just as green as Rolly. Duno got KO by Ryan Garcia and Tank, I believe. Arenas is solid. He is a solid fighter. General Big Fish said all bums. Hey, General Big Fish, go talk to your boy Earl Spence. DJ said salute, Miss T. Salute, DJ. What's up, King? D-Lo said my dad Duno didn't fight Tank. Your dad? Oh, you said my bad. My bad. Look, I thought I saw dad. I was gonna say, damn, we got a celebrity in the mix. My bad. Duno didn't fight Tank. He also lost to Mikhail Alexei. There's some names, bro.
Alexis, yeah, they
Alex,
don't be not pronounce these. Girl, don't give me the butchering of people names. They be mad at me.
exactly. EJ walks around about 175. He look at DJ, huh? Is it in my head, DJ? Then you ain't
Well,
gonna tell me it's the hair.
He's a Spencer Holly. DJ's a Spencer Holly. DJ know what it
I know,
is.
but DJ gonna tell the truth. At DJ say allegedly. DJ know I'm gonna go back and forth with him in a nice way, cause you know that's the king right there. But DJ, hey, look, admit it. It ain't right to be bringing up people's that should not be the go-to to how you make a comparison. You can say lovely things about Frank Martin and leave it right there. He's going to
That
be a force to be reckoned with. He's new to the division. He's making noise. We're going to move him right. He want all the smoke with everybody. He does everything well. I know he started late, but he's comporting himself well, blah, 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 blah. You see how I just said that? I ain't putting nobody down to say it. But Earl, he can't help himself. That's that
DJ Boots
kid.
look like he walks around about 180. I've always said Boots probably gonna end up at 175 by the time his career is over. He's not a little man. That's a big dude.
He don't look like he should be at 147. But if you're young enough to make it right now, then by all means,
Yeah,
you
I agree
know.
with you. I agree with you, sis. But yeah, he does not look like a welterweight, as they say, the glamour division. Yeah, he doesn't look like he should be in the glamour division. That's a
Well,
big.
well, moving forward, just not to put a cap on the WBA, I want y'all motherfucking Texas folks at their neck. Give me
Girl.
y'all a homework assignment. They
Child,
coming to Houston, get at their motherfucking neck. What you
child,
think about the fights that happened this weekend?
child.
I ain't see all of them.
I I saw like the ending of the Trezora fight, like the last. 2.5 rounds, I want to say. Everybody else that was like watching the fight or whatever, they was all saying like they believe it should have been like a draw at the least, and maybe the other little buddy should have won. Pulev should have probably won. But from the last 2 rounds, 2.5 rounds, I saw, I felt like Trezora was, he pulled it off. But I can't, speak for the other, 10.5 rounds. So I don't truly know.
Well, he calling out Big Daddy.
Yeah, girl.
Deontay Wilder.
Trezora has what, 12 losses? If he don't sit his, he should already be retired. Looking ass. Why are you still fighting? He look every bit of 122 years old. Like, stop it.
What you think about Brandon? He do. He look. Get that taco meat out that face.
Right.
Brandon Rios. I said Brandon Rios. I was thinking about Bam Rios. But Brandon Figueroa, I'm about tired of their swimming body ass. I don't even like watching them fight. Like I technically they haven't done nothing wrong. So let me just say that. But it's just something about leaning your head, and it's almost like they lay on a motherfucker and fight. I can't stand that shit. Brandon Figueroa.
Oh, girl, you talking about the transgender? Yeah, the transgender. Yeah, I didn't too much watch that fight. I'm not even gonna lie to you. I didn't too much watch that fight. Like, I just refuse to watch anything with him in it. He's a good and terrible fighter.
I can't. Yeah, like him and his brother. I thought his brother was a fluke. I thought it was just a fluke. Y'all, they got swimmers' bodies. I swear, you put their ass in a pool, I see gold medals in their future. That's what they built. Like, then you look at their dad and you be like, man, you got that shit from your mama? Because the dad ain't even shaped like that. But they will lean on, they lay all on the dude, and how their long arms is able to punch. So that's amazing for them. It's
like
not a style I like, though.
They fight like Paul Williams and Easter Bunny. They fight like Paul Williams and Easter Bunny. And then some people George.
Nah, don't put that on Paul. Paul was throwing them hands.
Girl, you know Paul was tall as hell, but he fought like he was about 5'2".
Yeah, he might fall, but he ain't lean on you. Paul would throw like 1,000 punches around.
People always fight on the inside. He'll be all on the inside with these shorter fighters. That's why his ass got knocked out by fucking Sergio Martinez going there and doing that goofy shit. Like,
I remember they asked him, you gonna change something about what you do? He said no. Sergio, I told y'all what I think about Sergio. I like Sergio, but my eyebrows is raised up on his ass. You froze. You'll come back, I guess. Quentin Bradley. Oh, you know I love you. Quentin, what's good with you, baby? That's you one of my favorite Earl Spence fans. I'll ask you the question. Why your boy always gotta put somebody down just to big up somebody? Just to big up his folks. Quentin, answer that to me. Quentin Bradley is in the building with Poppin' King. He said, oh shit. Yeah, Quentin, answer that for me. Why your boy got to always put somebody down just to big who he want up? What is that, Quentin? Is that cliquish behavior?
What is that? That's that cocky ass Pisces sign shit. I mean, have you ever met a Pisces that's not cocky? Look at Floyd Mayweather.
Girl.
Look at Rihanna.
I don't
like every Pisces.
I don't mess around with Pisces. I really don't.
Clarissa Shields. Look how they all act like that one.
They all act like you know. It's like let me rephrase it. There's certain signs. I used to be in the zodiac, y'all, but there's certain people signs that I just don't really want to mess around with, talking to, be friend with, or anything. But I judge everybody individually. I wait and see. I be like, don't assume. I just wait and see. But in my head, I'm prepared. I'm prepared for the worst. D-Lo say they low-key fight like swimmers. Quentin Bradley is in the building. You gracing me with your presence. Thank you, King. Thank you.
Man, I finally found your page. I've been looking for it.
Hello, gentlemen.
You haven't been. Oh, you've been looking for it. Okay, cool. What you got on it today? I'm glad you found my page. I was like, Quentin, the only one that ain't come to my page. You know, look at here. Check this shit out.
I'm listening.
I'm imitating you. You be getting them, boy. You say I got the frying pan. You had me rolling. I said, well, this is one of my favorite Spence fans right here.
No, I just be destroying the fanboys. That's all.
You just be
Here we go with the
getting them
bullshit.
straight.
Here we go with the
I, I,
bullshit.
I just be destroying the fanboys. That's all.
Okay, well, you gonna answer that question for me? I got DJ in the background too, but you gonna answer that question, Quentin? Like, why your boy got to put people down? And it's not this
What he
incident.
say?
It's not big. Okay, they were talking. They asked him a question. They were talking
Mhm.
about Frank Martin, and then
Yeah.
they try to make the comparison with Rowley. He went right into the same shit. Nobody caught it. It wasn't a big deal, Quentin. So I ain't trying to make it large, but I saw it. I said, "There it is, right there." He went into the who he fought. He ain't fought nobody. Like, why? What's Quentin?
DJ,
Explain that to me, please.
Uh, well, I guess because I guess he tried to. I guess he felt like the reporter was trying to belittle Frank Martin when they say, quote unquote, would he be ready for Rowley? Like Rowley just really done something but fought Tank. So
Right,
I
but he didn't belittle him though. I have to insert that, Quentin.
Yeah, and I'm gonna tell you something. And you're right. That's what he was doing. But I'm just giving you an angle as to
Right.
why. Cause I guess I guess the way the reporter threw that out there, like he belittling his fighter with the will he be ready for Rolly? Like worried about a matter about him being ready for Rolly.
But but
But
but would you take it that way? If somebody was asking you, and Frank
mm,
Martin is your guy, and they said, "You think he ready for Rolly?" Because we know that Frank is new. He's fairly new. He's just now getting his name popping off. That's a legitimate question to ask. You think he'll be ready for Rolly? Would you take it that way? Like they putting down your fighter?
I probably wouldn't have.
take
But I
it.
think but I think he did though at the time. I think he did.
Do you see what I be saying now? You probably got. I'm glad you came in tonight, Quentin, because you answered the question honestly. So I like you, but you see where my issue be with him.
Yeah,
That
yeah, I see what you're saying.
that shit ain't necessary. You
DJ,
would
I think it's
like,
gonna be 75 DJ.
But
yeah.
you
Hold on, I'm gonna get to DJ in a minute. But Quentin, you see what I'm saying? That's where the animosity start. This is why we on this Floyd. I mean this Earl and Bud situation where we at today.
Missy?
Like this. It's just it's crazy. But that's what I had to say. But did you want to say anything, Quentin? You want to add to the page? What you got? You gonna drop some signs on us? Speak up, your boy. Speaking of your boy, what he gonna do to Bud?
say, man, you see that he's trying to do everything he can to make the fight, man.
Mm,
So when he makes the fight, you know, I just ask all Crawford fans. I wonder will any of y'all that said that man was scared of that man, but he fuck around and make this fight. I wonder is all y'all gonna apologize and admit that y'all was wrong.
I hope so, but I think most of us here, especially in my show, I don't think we believe that either one of them was scared. Now that I'll say, I never thought he was scared. Did you, Destiny?
I never thought he was scared neither, but he just moved like a little, bitch at times. That's all. But I don't think
Hey, hold tight, Quentin. We gonna bring DJ, my brother, up in here. What's poppin', DJ? What you got on it?
hey, baby, Alabama.
What's, what's going on? What's going on? Talk to me. What's going
This
on?
another Spence fan. I actually, hey Quentin, this another Spence fan.
Wait. I'm a fan of both guys. I'm a fan of both guys. I
Who
just
you
want to
like
see the
more,
fight.
DJ? Who you like more?
Huh?
Who you like
Boots?
more? Come on.
Boots?
DJ said, he ain't welcome me
what,
into
what
this.
what you think about Boots fighting Rashidi Ellis? That's calling him out right now.
That's a good fight.
Make the fight. Make
That
the
that's
fight.
that would be a good fight.
Hey,
Look, Speedy
18.
Rashidi just He did what he needed to do last Saturday. He got back in the ring after a long layoff. Oscar absolutely fumbled the bag again. He had a legit star on his hands, and he let him go. I
Let
want
him
to
go.
see Speedy Rashidi get a quick turnaround, though, man. But I don't think him and Boots are going to fight next.
Because Rashidi told Boots that you ain't got an opponent. After Saturday, I won't have an opponent. Say, man, I'll fight you. Why don't we fight?
But
We'll see what happens, man. Speedy
DJ, we can
Rashidi
go
just came
October,
in.
though.
Uh-oh. Speedy
DJ, we
Rashidi
can
just
go
came into the WBC rankings this week, too. So we'll see what happens.
Well, who he fighting with now?
Well, I
He
want to fight
on
DJ.
PBC.
He's talking that good shit.
He with
Yeah,
PBC?
Speedy Rashidi just signed with the PBC back in April, I want to say, because Golden Boy had him on the shelf for almost 2 years. So, you know, he's finally with PBC, and I think he's gonna get some work, man. This is what all the welterweights and super welterweights are. So I think he's gonna get some work. Like I said, I want to see him get a quick turnaround after being out the ring for so long. He did exactly what he was supposed to do Saturday. He got that guy out of there in the first round. It was a late replacement, 3 days notice. The guy was coming up in weight. Speedy Rashidi did exactly what he was supposed to do.
And my boy Andrew Charles was in the building. Was Poppin' King? He said put Martin in there with Isaac Cruz. Yeah, that'd be good.
They make the same height.
I want to see Frank Martin in there with somebody like Michelle Rivera. I want to see him. That's the fight I want to see.
Can I say something about a little buddy about Frank Martin? Frank Martin does not have a boxer's body. He's very compact muscles. He has very short compact muscles. He looks like he could be like a little baby bodybuilder. So
he was a wrestler, Destiny. He was a wrestler.
I'm not trying to be rude though, because he's not a big man. I don't see him having longevity in the boxing. Not Jeff Lacey was compact like that too.
Oh no, I know that Derek James style. It's a certain style to where you got to be calculated, aggressive, and if you can't pull that shit off, you won't fare well in the Derek James style.
We got it, Quentin. It's good and terrible. We've been those.
I think no.
Good and terrible. Yes, it is.
ATL is in the building. He said bisexual scared man down. Here go another Spence fan. Hey, ATL, this Spence tight up in this bitch.
Yeah, okay. They came out the woodwork.
Hey, Quentin, we was
about to fight on site.
We was roasting ATL the other day. He needed some help. He was like, where my Spence fans? I like it Spence tight up here. Me and Destiny, the true Bud fans.
Yeah, because me and DJ, we fighting DJ. We ain't meeting up to fight because I got nothing but time on my hands.
Yeah, I like calling out the cap on both sides, man. That's it. Spence fans be capping, Bud fans be capping. I just want to see the fight at the end of the day.
Don't change your tone now. We got stuff. We got a date and a time. We need to be fighting. So you give me the date and the time and the place, and I'll be there.
Destiny, you won. I'm Destiny. I'm ducking. I got mandatories.
DJ, you
got Miss T.
Yo, what's up, Quinn?
Man, we've been on Mac Mob and E Thriller. I've been having that all lot, man.
I see y'all.
I've been having that all out. I said I wasn't gonna have it out tonight. I said I'm gonna put the all away tonight, man. I'm just gonna listen.
No, you be handling yourself well. I love when you come on.
Man, I love to debate.
Yeah.
Especially if we debating facts over feelings. I love to debate all day long because the people tell you have the right to remain silent because anything you say can and will be used against you, and I will punish that shit when they talk crazy, right?
Right.
Yeah.
But P-Gang Quentin. There's two incidents. I think they both were on the Mac Mom. Y'all had on the show. Steven, that one day that B-Mac kept asking him a question, the nigga wouldn't answer the question. I've grown to like Steven, but I was like, nigga, answer the question. He just wouldn't answer it. He filibusters a lot.
Yeah.
Nigga, General Big Fish But then what was the other guy that Mac was trying to say? He kept talking about the Porter fight and Crawford fight was it what you call it when they ordered the fight? When they the purse bid. He kept calling it, he kept saying purse bid. And Mac was trying to tell him, look, they can go across the street if they want to. Sean Porter did it. Deontay Wilder did it. He was like naming out different people. And the guy kept saying, nah, but like you don't get it. It was the purse bid. And I'm like, there was no purse bid.
I think it's like it was on both networks though. Because only other person they did that for, somebody pointed out to me not too long ago when they were talking about the same thing. Like, so, you know, going across the street though, when it's like the fight is on both networks, it's on, you know, Showtime and ESPN, or back then I think it was HBO when Mayweather versus
who did the Porter fight,
right?
Though? Who did the Porter fight? Who did the Porter fight and Crawford fight?
That was all Bob Arum. That was all Bob Arum.
So that was a Bob Arum event, right? So that's ESPN. Yeah. And if Sean Porter
that was all Bob Arum because they won. It actually was a purse bid because, excuse me, it actually was a purse bid because the WBO mandated that fight.
Okay, DJ, then I gotta ask a question.
And once a fight is mandated,
no, it wasn't the purse bid.
They give you so long. Once a fight gets mandated, they give you so long to negotiate. I think they give you like 30 days to negotiate or whatever. And then after the negotiations fall through, because you remember when that fight was first mandated, or when they was trying to make the fight before, Sean Porter wouldn't take the fight. They said Bob Arum was lowballing him. So the negotiations fell through, and then they had a purse bid, and Bob Arum ended up winning the purse bid.
There was never a purse bid.
There was never DJ, go back and look it up. Because what I would ask the question is, go and look up on Google and find who won the purse bid. Because
it wasn't a purse bid.
It wasn't a purse bid. Exactly, Quinn. It wasn't a purse bid, DJ.
Yeah, it was going to go
but it did. But Bob Arum beat the deadline. Once you beat the deadline, it's not a purse bid.
That's correct.
Yeah.
Right.
So that guy could not You remember what I'm talking about, Quentin and Big Fish? What I don't know what his name was the other day. He could not understand that shit to save his life on the Mac show. I was like, he don't understand it.
Me see, take that down so I can see what the hell I'm talking to. People be talking.
Say, Miss T, it done got so it done got to where now I got them attacking me, letting me know straight up off the back that they are buddies. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, what the fuck? I'm talking, got me totally speechless, right? I'm like, I'm like, man, I'm flattered. You know what I'm saying? I've never had a motherfucker just admit to me what the fuck they is, right?
Damn. Yeah, y'all be cracking me up. I be laying in bed.
Gotta respect that shit, though.
Hey. General Big Fish, you in the building? What's poppin', King? What you got on the Big Fish?
Miss T,
my dog, Big Fish.
Yeah, Ken Harry, what's up, bro?
What's good with it, my brother?
Chilling, man.
My fighting brother.
Yeah, what's going on, everybody?
She about to come in with that bullshit. You gonna come here and talk some real shit?
What you mean?
You know how you be on that bullshit. I still love you, brother. I still love you.
Hey, I come in peace. I'm just coming to listen to some good boxing talk. That's all.
Hey, Big Fish, what we can look forward to in September? As you know, I think Canelo gonna beat your boy, but I want you to win.
Man, we going with Triple G, man. Triple G gonna do it.
Shit. We rewriting history again. We about to right or wrong. That's right 2 wrongs.
If it go anywhere like that first fight went, I think Triple G will get the nod this time because Triple G won that first fight.
Man, if we can retire that boy, that would be so awesome. If he lose 2 straight, it's a wrap. What y'all think if Canelo?
Man, listen to me and listen to me carefully.
Go ahead, DJ, get it.
Canelo is about to brutally beat the shit out of Triple G. Because the only reason this fight is happening is because Canelo wants to knock him out. That's the only reason this fight is happening.
All right, I get
Canelo
back with
wants to knock him out, and this is one of the few times y'all will actually hear me say this. I'm actually rooting for Canelo in this fight. I'm ready for him to put Triple G out the pasture.
Oh my god.
Oh my God. No. that
I'm ready for him.
nigga stay in the pasture. God
I'm
damn.
ready for him to send Triple G off. I'm ready for him to send Triple G off to the upper room.
Hey,
You
can
know,
you?
they've
Hey,
allowed this
Miss T.
man. If y'all have heard me talk on these panels before, y'all know I have no love for Triple G whatsoever. I think he's been allowed to duck and babysit belts for the majority of his career, and
Oh shit. It's gonna
it's
go
time for
down.
him to
No.
it's
Oh
time for him to
Lord.
go. It's time for him to go and go out the pasture, man. I hope Canelo knock his ass out.
Damn.
Hey, T, can you please do a show that following that fight and invite this young man on so we can laugh at him?
Yeah. I sure will. DJ, would you come on the show the night of the
Man,
fight? And I do a show. I do a live show. Y'all come back.
If
On,
if
on,
if I'm off work that night, I will gladly come on.
Hey,
yeah.
DJ, we can bet 200 push-ups on that. What you think?
I'm sorry though. This fight is bullshit. Nobody's want to see fucking Cinnamon fight an old ass washed up ass fucking Triple G.
Oh my God.
Nobody else for that bullshit. Nobody. We want to see the rematch between him and Bivol, so fucking Bivol can beat the Spanish out this nigga. He
He
beat the
can't beat
English out of
Bibble.
him. I
Hold
want
on.
to
He
see him
can't
beat the
beat
fucking
Bibble.
Spanish out of him. Yeah,
No,
fuck,
Well,
fuck Spanish.
well, on
Fuck
He
on that
can't beat
note,
Bibble.
on that note, the WBA just ordered Bivol versus Zordo. So Bivol got Zordo
oh,
problems right now.
Zerto.
Ooh.
That's
I
true.
like that
Yeah,
Zordo fight,
Ramirez.
man. Zordo got something, man.
Zerto.
they just
Canelo
ordered
don't
that
want to
fight.
fight
They
him.
just ordered that fight, man.
Devil
So we're
gonna
gonna
beat
see
his
what
ass.
happens with that.
Devil gonna beat his ass. So you know why? Because these niggas fight flat footed. They have no head movements. Yeah, they fight flat footed. He's gonna beat their ass too because they have no footwork. They have none of that. So he's gonna beat
I
that
don't
ass
know,
too.
Destiny. I don't
Yo,
know,
Mark,
Destiny.
Mark,
That's a well balanced
D-Town, where
race
you
over
at? Come
there.
back, homie.
let's see. You heard me say it first. You heard me say it
I heard
first.
her say it first. Now listen, I know Zerto Ramirez been writing to everybody but Santa Claus for somebody to pay him attention. So now the sanctioning bodies then did him a solid is what you saying, and he gonna mix it up with who you say he fighting
Beaver.
Bivol,
Bivol.
Bivol.
I've never really seen
Zordo
Zordo fight.
Ramirez is the number one contender. He's the number one contender at light heavyweight for the WBA belt, which is, as we know, being held by Bivol. And they got until August 10th to negotiate that fight. After that, it's gonna go to purse bid or whatever, but probably gonna be looking somewhere around October for that fight to happen.
Y'all killing me with the Zorro. His name's Zerto.
Zordo, lefty. That's what Zordo means, lefty.
Zorro. Oh, nephew, that would it be? I'm like, what
Mm-hmm.
the fuck is Zorro in here?
Zordo.
Zerto, yeah. But
Mm-hmm.
I never seen him
Gilberto.
fight. I never. But listen, he closing in on that Mayweather record though.
Who is?
Who?
Zerto.
How?
Oh, you talking about the fit there? No,
Mm-hmm.
Yo.
he
And Low TV
he made
is
him. I
undefeated.
tell
And
you one thing.
he's not
I
gonna.
tell you one thing. If he's just so happen to beat Bivol, he ain't going undefeated because he gonna have to run into the Terminator.
That's facts.
Yes.
Facts on
Yes.
facts on facts.
Man,
Yes. Oh.
But
that
y'all
son of
got
a bitch be punching. No.
but you fucking spring chicken though. That man is every bit of like 228 years old. So
I
I
don't know
mean,
what the fuck he on, but he on something. He
he's
from the
Muslim.
future.
He's Muslim, and he lives up there in the fucking mountains somewhere in the middle
Oh,
of
who
bumfuck
Muslim?
Russia.
Nah, he
Better
live in Canada.
Bill
He been in
Muslim.
Canada almost 20 years. He been living in Canada
So,
almost 20 years.
you're right, but he has a farm though. He has a farm. You're right, honey. You're right.
Yeah. We don't see the Terminator until it's time for him to fight. That man be up there training, constantly
Mm.
training up there on his farm. He comes down to fight, knock dudes out, and go back on his farm, man. So Anthony Yard is possibly about to be his next victim. So we'll see what happens with that.
Anthony Yard seemed confident that he gonna do something. Detail, you come back in, Shaw. That we seen you. I was just waiting. He said that fight will outsell anything this year. The biology and Ramirez has been ordered to fight Bivol. Yeah. I wish that Bivol could just go off and fight better BF and settle that shit. If you got a chance, what do y'all think about if you have a chance to be undisputed? Don't you think the fighters should go for it? Like
Somebody don't
regardless
want
of
to
what
take it
anybody
off.
says?
Somebody
Huh?
don't want to virginity. Somebody gonna lose their virginity, sis.
Yeah, but
It ain't even necessarily that. It's just that both of these guys got mandatories. Like Anthony Yard was the mandatory coming into that fight anyway, coming into the Joe Smith Jr. and Better BF fight.
DJ, but an undisputed would trump that shit though. You know that. You a boxing, you been doing non-boxing. You know undisputed would trump that shit. Stop it.
it
Yeah,
should.
but it's other stuff that's got to go into it, man. Like the reason why the Tim Tszyu and Jamel Charlo fight is finally about to happen is because Tim Tszyu stepped aside twice, and Bakram, who was the IBF mandatory for Jamel Charlo, also stepped aside twice so that fight could happen. It's not just that the unification trump mandatory; it's just that your mandatories have to agree to step aside and let that fight happen. Because if they really push the issue, they can't get their fight first. Like Tim Tszyu didn't have to step aside and let Castano fight Charlo again.
Who's the sanctioning body, sweetheart? Who's the sanctioning body that's mandating these fights between these two? Which
The
sanctioning body is?
the WBO had already mandated that Anthony Yard fight Joe Smith Jr., but I guess he stepped aside so they could have that unification fight.
Okay, so
And the
what about
WBA
then
actually Bivol had two mandatories. It was either going to be Zordo who had fought two title eliminators, or it was going to be Buatsi, who's ranked number 2. I think he's either ranked number 2 or number 3 in the WBA at 175. So
okay, so but you said, but honestly, let's be realistic though. We've always seen it where because these so-called mandatories wasn't mandatories before, so we know that for a fact that they can step aside and let a fucking undisputed match happen because undisputed is bigger than any fucking so-called mandatory. I don't want to see no fucking Berteria versus no goddamn Yard. I don't want to see that shit, and I don't want to see no fuck. I mean, I guess because people keep saying that Zordo dude is so good, but I don't think he's that great, period. He fights like, never mind. But he fights very flat footed. He's just not, he fights, no head, no stick. He fights,
he's a long, rangy southpaw, man. So it's gonna be a tough fight for Bivol.
Mexico. He do fight like he's from Mexico.
Hold tight, yeah. You know what I just realized? Big Fish, you ain't get to say your piece. I'm sorry, y'all. I gotta get everybody a chance to say their piece.
It's good. I'm listening to all the knowledge y'all kicking. I just want to say that Bob Arum isn't really a fan, according to him, of undisputed champions, because that interferes with his politics. So that's not this undisputed thing has just something that's been recent of the past 4 years. It ain't been like one of the greatest boxers of all time, Floyd Mayweather. If that was important to him, he would have been undisputed at welterweight. But that's not important to everybody. Everybody look at that different.
But Floyd was saying in his career, he said, "I've done everything. What more can I do?" So at the later end of his career, he was not into it. Man, Bob gave to me, I thought, Shakur Stevenson some shitty advice. I don't know if y'all caught the beginning of the show, but I was talking about the fact that Shakur is actually saying he's moving up soon. He has a fight in September where he said with Kaseka, the guy that Oscar Valdez beat up before he fought Shakur. But if it's so easy and lackluster, why don't he just go get the belts?
This is an example. This is a hypothetical, Miss T. Just look at it like this. When Terrence Crawford was about to fight when he fought in Dungo for that last belt, right? Mm-hmm. If he would have been thrown a bone to say, hey, you can take this fight against Ndongo for undisputed, or I'm gonna finally give you Manny Pacquiao, what do you think he would have chose?
I don't know. Honestly, that's a good question. That's a good stomp question right there. But
you know the answer.
But for me, I'm gonna take the undisputed. Look, dude, like this is what I be telling people in my own life. I ain't no boxer or nothing, but I have competed in combat sports when I was younger. I used to do karate, right? But I be like this: you can't take it back from me. You call me what you want, put educated in front of that bitch, because you can't take it back from me. I'm a believer in that shit.
I feel you, but when you get back to the house, your family gonna be looking at you like, man, You chose that $20,000, probably $10,000 belt over an extra $10 million. What's wrong with you, T?
But I'm gonna do it because if I get
And that's exactly what
undisputed,
Floyd used to do. Floyd would win the belt and drop the belt and then fight the next champion. They're like, no, you keep the belt. I'll just go knock off all. After I knock off all the champions, I'm gonna be considered undisputed anyway, even without having all the belts.
Exactly.
So
that's the way
Floyd was notorious for doing that. He'd beat the champion, hold the belt for a minute, then drop the belt, and then go fight the next champion.
Hold on, let me get some of these chats. Big Chop, Unbiased Boxing. Thank you. Welcome to the building. He said Bob Arum said it ain't happening because he on the wrong side. D-Town Blaster, he said a water check. Yeah, we already did a water check. Everybody good on that water today? Boxing fans. I said, I told him I'm good. And then he said, all good, young lady. He said it's noisy where he at. Big Chop said, Bob said Bivol is on the wrong side. And he said, fuck Undisputed. Yeah, Bob Wood said that old ass motherfucker ain't never did shit. Ain't never bust a grape. And they listening to him. I said, Shakur, get your Undisputed and then move your ass up. Bob, with all due respect, because I don't wish bad on nobody, he at the tail end of his life. Fuck what he talking about.
Yeah. I mean, it's
I'm gonna stop cheating. It's so much candy though, but I'm gonna stop cheating. I'm gonna be on my best behavior. But can I say something what y'all was saying earlier though? Y'all was talking about what the fuck was y'all just talking about? Damn, it slipped my mind.
Shakur?
Yeah, Shakur moving up right against but Shakur, like he said he wants to be undisputed at 130. And y'all was talking about the reason why Mayweather never became undisputed. He hated paying these sanctioning fees. And let's be realistic. My baby Devin Haney just had to pay like over $300, almost $400,000 in sanctioning fees. These
I'm about to say he had to pay over $250,000 in sanctioning fees. Devin Haney ain't gonna hold them belts that long, man.
I don't know. And I mean, that's why Mayweather said that shit though. That's like highway robbery. It's highway robbery. That these
not just Mayweather, Destiny. Andre Ward said it too. Remember, Andre Ward just did an interview talking about how these sanctioning bodies be robbing the fighters blind with these belts.
Yeah.
Uncle Sam, where you at? Uncle Sam, you don't let me get away with nail tax dollar. Get the fuck on Mr. Cantone back. That's Mauricio Suleiman, in case y'all wonder who Mr. Cantone is. Hey,
Mr. Cantone, I know who you talking about.
From Harlem Nights. Y'all can tell me that man don't look like Mr. Cantone from Harlem Nights. They need to get at him. But D Young is in the building. What's poppin', King?
What's going on? How y'all doing?
Yeah, it's just way too many politics going on with Shakur, man, because unfortunately, the two other belts that are in that division, Eddie Hearn got one of them, and PBC about to have the other one. So we'll see what happens. But I don't think we're gonna see any type of undisputed at 130.
Yeah,
you can't move. My point is, you can't move like other people want you to move, because when the shit don't work for you, you're gonna have a lot of regrets. At least when you do what you want to do, you ain't got no regrets. D Young, what you got on it? You got the floor.
Oh man, yeah, I think I definitely agree with what DJ said, man. I think Shakur should go ahead and move up to 35. I mean, like I say, it's the politics in the game and shit. I think once he move up to 35, we'll start seeing more knockouts. And I think he's gonna have a lot of hand injuries, man, because after the Valdez fight, he was complaining about his fucking hands. But nonetheless, though, I'm ready for him to move up, man, and take on those guys up at 35.
You think that he can be between? I know if he move up, it's gonna be Tank and him are the prima donnas up there at 35. You think which one of them can really clean out the division?
Shakur.
You think Shakur?
Shakur. I actually think Shakur can beat Tank. I actually think Shakur can beat Tank.
Oh yeah, absolutely, absolutely. I don't think it's just I don't know who could beat Shakur right now from 35 to 40, but
yeah, that kid got the glow right now. He got the glow like Bruce Leroy right now, man.
Yeah.
Bruce Leroy. Did y'all see the picture? I'm sorry, Destiny. Did y'all see the picture I put up of Shakur Stevenson? That motherfucker big as hell.
Yeah, and that's why I say, Miss T, whenever he move up, his power gonna carry. I think just the same as Dev. When Dev go up to 40, his power gonna carry.
Hey, listen, I'm telling you, when Devin move up to 140, is some dudes waiting on him. Those gonna be some good fights, man.
Yeah,
That Shark Tank,
yeah.
that Hornets Nest of 140 is gonna be absolutely amazing. I've been waiting on this. I think we might even finally get that T.O. and Devin fight, because strangely enough, if T.O. wins his next fight, he could possibly be fighting Josh Taylor next.
Whoa.
You know what I mean?
Damn.
So
I didn't think of that.
I mean, so you got that, and then Devin can move up and immediately jump the line. See, I think that's what Shakur is waiting on more so than anything. I think once he moves up, he'll be first in line for a WBO title shot. So once Devin vacates those belts, because I think Devin's gonna fight this rematch with Kambosos, and then I think he's gonna fight Lomachenko and retire Lomachenko, and then he'll move up to 140.
So,
and then after that, I think we'll see Shakur move up.
Hey DJ, let me ask you this: so who you got with Dev versus Loma?
Devin's gonna retire. Devin might stop Lomachenko.
You think so?
Because I think he's gonna stop Kambosos in his next fight.
Maybe, yeah, maybe Kambosos. I'm gonna say this. I think it's 50-50 with him and Loma. I think if Loma don't respect, see, we gotta understand this. I think the reason Loma was gun shy is because he saw that knockout with Richard Comey that T.O. did. He was scared of that nigga power. Just calling it like I see it, because it wasn't the shoulder. Because if it was the shoulder, why in the second half of the fight he brought it on T.O. and he brought on the onslaught to T.O. So my thing is, I think he was scared of the power early. I think when him and Dev fight, I think is either gonna go either way. I think if Loma don't respect Dev power, I think it'll be a better fight. But if Dev control distance and keep that jab out, he might have a chance. But we all know Loma is good on getting getting in the inside of any fighter, because he got one of the best footworks in the game.
D-Young, I don't think Loma was.
I'm gonna respond to that in a second, but y'all go ahead.
My bad. Would you say it, Fish?
Let me cook him. Yo, stop the fucking madness. There is no way in the world Loma's gonna be fucking Devin Haney. This big one got fucking franchise belt to avoid fighting Devin Haney. This to the fucking right. Every time you see the back foot, he always pivots to the right. If you cut this nigga the right side of him, he has nowhere else to go. He does not understand footwork. He cannot fight off his back foot neither.
I didn't say he could fight off his back foot. I said he got good footwork on getting on the inside.
And I'm gonna say this, D-Young. Right? I don't think it was the power.
John, let me talk.
Go ahead,
wait, DJ. I got y'all saying. But D, stop the fucking madness, huh? Please stop the madness. Yo, you talking about
what's the madness though?
Who lost this to a fucking journeyman? He lost his second fight to a journeyman, fucking Toledo. And when he had a chance to rematch Toledo, he turned the shit down. When he had a chance to fight a 20-year-old fucking Devin Haney, he petitioned for a fucking franchise belt. What
something wrong with your satellite feed?
Because right now, we live in a fantasy land. But go ahead.
Hold on, y'all. This is free for all, but remember, we can't hear each other when we talk over. But Jerry said he up in this biatch. You know, Jerry is Bob Arum's cousin. What up, Jerry? You know you some kin to Bob Arum. Stop playing.
Yeah. Let me say something right quick about Devin Haney and Lomachenko. Now imagine this. Imagine you're Lomachenko. You got all them belts, and you have an opportunity to what they build at the time. Undisputed fight is what they build it. Because I watched the fight when he fought Lopez, but he had all them belts, and Lopez had just come off fresh off a second round knockout of a good fighter in Comey, and let's just call it unification. So that was a big fight. Now imagine you got that fight you can take, or you can fight what Devin Haney was at the time, which was a beltless contender. That's what Haney was at the time. Haney hadn't even fought at that time the 39-year-old Gamboa or the 37-year-old Linares. He did. And so if you're Lomachenko, and then add to the fact that Lopez was a stablemate, so it's an easy fight to make.
confliction of motherfucking protection. Yeah, we know Jerry. We know Jerry. Go ahead. Continue on with that bullshit. Your racist bullshit. Continue on.
No, let me finish. If Devin
He
Haney,
was actually mandatory. He was his mandatory. Don't say he was his mandatory. He was his mandatory. So stop lying.
Hold tight, Jessica. Let him talk. Then you rebut. Go ahead, Jerry.
Let me say what I gotta say. Then you can rebut.
Protection. We know.
For all the belts, you got to fight a beltless contender. What do you think Devin Haney would have did? He would have fought Kambosos just the way Loma fought Tio. It was a bigger fight, an easier fight to make, and that's exactly why he did it. Lomachenko is a prize fighter at the highest level. He is not afraid of Devin Haney, and you're about to see them.
I agree with Jerry, man. Lomachenko ain't scared. It ain't
Jerry
about
full of
being
fucking
scared.
bullshit. Jerry full of fucking bullshit.
Nah, fish out.
Well, there was no bullshit in that at all. It's pure facts. That's exactly what went down.
Bullshit, so you full of bullshit. You're full of bullshit. So you opted for the fucking franchise belt. Why don't you turn? Matter of fact, we got to see Bivol versus somebody else, Zerto. We got to see fucking Better Be fight a goddamn Yard because that's their mandatories, right? So why the hell you gonna tell me about turning down the unification belt? Stop the madness. The protection. He has a complexion for the fucking protection.
Miss. Do you know?
Hold up. General Big Fish, he's trying to get in there. Go ahead, General Big Fish.
Destiny, do you know who L Boogie is?
She got that LB reception, cuz.
I don't think so. L Boogie is. Big Fish is I'm looking on. What is that?
But D Young.
What up, homie?
But yeah, I feel you a little bit on that assessment with Lomachenko and Tio. I think Lomachenko was just trying to drag him into deep water, and he figured like, man, I'm gonna take this dude out at the end. Or he go die out, and that shit almost worked because I was rooting for Tio hard as fuck.
I disagree, fellas. I disagree.
Hey, hold on, DJ. Let me rebuttal one thing from Fish. I mean, you could say that, Fish, but at the end of the day, Loma was gun shy, bro. If you saw in the first round how he snapped Tio head back with that straight left, and then you go to the 7th, the 8th, the 9th, the 10th, to the end of the fight, you saw he kept hitting Tio with that shit. But he was gun shy because, like I said, he saw how he knocked Richard Comey out. That was the fight before the unification. He saw how he knocked that nigga out cold. So Loma had that on his mind. Look, Fish. He tried to blame it on the shoulder, but it wasn't the shoulder. Cause come on, man. Like if it's the shoulder, why you shooting that hoe so fast like you doing? We saw how Gary Russell's shoulder was fucked up. So it was definitely some psychological shit going on. But nonetheless, though, I mean, if he would have started from maybe the 5th round, he probably could have got him out of there.
Hey, Tio held on in that last round. If he wouldn't have held on in that last round, that shit would have been. I can't remember what was the score. What was the judge scorecard?
I thought Tio was ahead that whole fight.
Yeah, Miss T, he was, but it changed.
Tio won that fight. I think it was like 8-4. But the reason why it wasn't that necessarily Loma was gun shy, it's what Tio was doing. It wasn't what Loma wasn't doing. It was what Tio was doing. Tio was able to nullify those angles because he was hitting it with straight punches. Every time he hit Loma, every time he was connecting with Loma, he was stiffening him up with straight punches, and it was nullifying those angles. Loma would have to stop, reset, and try to regain his rhythm. That's why I say Devin Haney would be a terrible matchup for Lomachenko, because what is Devin Haney's best punch? That stab jab, that straight left jab. So I think that would make Lomachenko reset, and by the time he got back into the fight was already over. Tio won the first 7 rounds of that fight.
No disagreeing with that.
Nah, I can't say the man won straight. I gotta go. I'm gonna go back and watch this fight. I don't remember that shit.
But hey, DJ, I'm not saying Dev ain't got no power, bro. But I'm telling you, that shit had something to do with it. You right. It was what Tio was doing, but it was more so he was thinking of that punch. But if Dev can't get the respect, if Loma don't respect Dev power,
no question, and that's why the Haney fight will be more competitive. At least I think, because Devin Haney does not have the power that Lopez just simply
That
does.
is true. That is very
all
true.
I'm saying, y'all.
He has enough power. He has power because he's going to run through his punches. Nobody's running up to get punched. Nobody's running up to get punched by him. He has more
You right, Miss Destiny. You right,
He
Miss
has more
Destiny.
knockouts than fucking Tito. He has more knockouts than fucking Cambozo. So what are y'all talking about right now? Like, what are you talking about?
But the thing of it is that we're not saying Dev ain't got no power. We trying to tell you is that do we have enough power to keep him off his ass? That's just like the Bivol and Canelo fight. Did Bivol have enough power to keep Canelo off his ass?
It ain't even necessarily that he gotta have the power. It's just Devin has the length and the range to keep Lomachenko off of him, not necessarily the power. Devin Haney is long as hell for that lightweight division.
Hey, but look at this. Didn't Loma fight a Nakatani who like 5'11" with like a 70-something inch reach?
This the thing,
I'm gonna say this right. And Nakatani is a punching bag with arms, man. He has no skill. The only reason Nakatani even got half the consideration
with some reach too. I'm like I say, bro, I'm not disagreeing with y'all, man. It's 50-50. But that's all I'm putting in is the X factors of this fight.
It's more like 90-10. It's more like 90-10.
That's disrespectful.
No, it ain't disrespectful. It's facts.
That's disrespectful.
No, it's facts. It's facts. You're Dion.
At the end of the day, it's just a bad matchup. It's a bad matchup for Lomachenko. Devin Haney.
That's why
anybody who hits Lomachenko with straight punches and makes him freeze like Teofimo Lopez did, it's going to be a bad matchup for him, man. I don't even think it's going to be necessarily Devin Haney's power. I just think it's his length and his range that's going to make him. He's going to hit him with straight punches.
A lot of guys that are taller and bigger than him. Loma's a little guy like Gary Russell. He's a little dude. They know how to deal with
I think he's white Jesus to you. I know white Jesus to you, sir. We've been new, baby. Get the entire fuck out of here. Stop it.
Jared, don't be allowed. Y'all look, let's be nice. Jared, what you say?
Be nice tonight, Destiny. Be nice tonight.
Okay, I'm being back to my side. I'm sorry.
That's going to make it tough on Lomachenko. And he doesn't have the power. He's got power to keep you off of him. Yes, he clearly does that. And I think Devin's a better puncher than what he's shown up to this point. He doesn't sit down on his punches that much. So as he gets more into the fight game and matures because he's young, he might develop into a better puncher. I think there's no question that Lomachenko is head and shoulders going to be the best fighter Haney has fought, and it'll look good. If Haney beats him, it'll look real good on the resume to get that victory. Two losses or no two losses for Loma. That's still a good victory to have on your resume. So that's a good fight.
Yeah, can we all agree on that will be a way tougher fight than Camboso's?
I think so, Big Fish.
Absolutely.
I think, and you know what? And you know what it is?
No, I don't agree with that either.
I'm not a big Lomachenko fan, but I will say this. Lomachenko is going to make Devin fight, and nobody makes him fight, in my opinion. When he fights, the closest person that made him fight a little bit was, in my opinion, Jojo Diaz.
But that's because Devin chose that kind of fight. He wanted to prove to everybody he had a chance, so he chose that kind of fight.
Yeah, do you allow that to happen when we say that about Earl Spence?
I was going to say that, General Big Fish.
No, we don't want to hear that.
No, because you gotta understand, it's levels to these things now. It's levels to these things. Because we've seen fucking your boy, little buddy, One Eye Willie or AK Finding Nemo take L's in rounds after rounds. But mind you, Dev only took three. He lost 3 rounds in a fight against JoJo. We don't see Finding Nemo lose like a good 5 or 6 rounds.
5 or 6. Made out where the draw at on his record? I don't see no draw on Earl Spence' record. You said he done lost 6 rounds in a fight before.
Barely made it out alive against fucking against Sean Porter. Finding Nemo was looking real hard. Like, yeah, he was searching. He had to dig deep. If it wasn't for that knockdown, it would have been a wrap.
Can we all agree that Devin really hasn't fought adversity yet? Like real
Wait,
adversity? Can we
no,
all
we cannot
agree?
agree that. No, we cannot. So Devin beat the man who beat the man who beat the so-called man. So Devin beat the man who beat
Cambosos caught
the so-called
lightning in a bottle, though, Destiny. He
man.
caught lightning in a bottle, Cambosos.
Yeah, Camboso's only one because
I agree with that. He beat
Fimo was trying to knock that boy out.
Victory, couple big victories.
That's not football because you know what? Tito was a
He's
damn
the man.
sure thing
He's
going
the
around
man who
too
beat
because
the man.
Jack
That's the lineal
stuck
title.
Lomachenko's fucking mandatory, and they figured that Tio was going to be going there and like watch. I mean, Lomachenko was going to watch Tio, but for whatever reason, him and his daddy had like this weird ass game plan. Let's not throw punches for 6 rounds, which nobody understands, but only them two. And then and he won. Like after that, he started like actually like fighting. He won rounds. So, but still, at the end of the day, Devin beat the man who beat the man that beat the fake man. He beat White Jesus. So the Honduran Jesus beat White Jesus, and then Greek Jesus beat Honduran Jesus, and then Black Jesus beat all of them. At the end of the day, he's undefeated.
And to that point, like when people say that Devin beat the man who beat the man who beat the man, nobody ever actually beat Mikey Garcia in that division. Only reason that belt was even up for grabs is because Mikey Garcia was going through that legal trouble with Bob Arum, and he had to vacate that belt. So Lomachenko never beat Mikey Garcia, who was the man at that division. So, that whole he beat the man who beat the man who beat the man. I don't go with that narrative because nobody ever beat Mikey Garcia.
DJ, I said the fake man, but let's be listen. Mikey Garcia, Justice Smoke, Mikey Garcia, Justice Smoke fucking damn for us. He Justice Smoke damn ball. He also Justice Smoke fucking
Oh my God, no. Boy, I see you. Say, Miss T, why you know your show crunk like this here, man?
Sometimes we be on that train be moving. Look, Jerry, I gotta ask you. Because since you and I, I'm picking with Jerry when I say that, but somehow a little piece of me believe this. How your cousin get his way all the time to my Bob? Because he always has suggested that Shakur move up, and now Shakur's talking about he gonna do it soon.
Well, if you've seen Shakur's last fight, look how big he looked.
He big as
absolutely. Great point.
He looked like a junior welterweight to me. He's got huge size at that weight, and it may be, I don't know how the fuck some of these fighters make weight because Devin is big. Devin is one of the biggest lightweights I've ever seen. If it wasn't for Tio Lopez was way big at that weight. I don't know how them guys are getting down to those weights. I mean, God bless them because that's all they got to do is make the weight. But at some point, that catches up to you. Now, when you're a young man like Lopez or Tio, you can make those weights a little bit better. But still, the very next fight, that weight cut could cost you. And I tell you the truth, if I was Devin Haney, I would do anything I could to get out of going back to Australia because I'm gonna tell you right now. If Lopez fights if Kambosos fights a slightly better fight, you seen in the first fight he didn't win one round, and two judges had it a 2-point fight. Imagine if he wins 3 or 4 rounds. Imagine if he fights a slightly better fight. They'll rip Devin Haney off. If I was him, I would do anything to get out of that fight. If he stays at the weight, one more fight with Lomo, and then get up out of there because the weight cut could cost him. And I like Stevenson moving up. To me, Stevenson is one of the sharpest tools in boxing right now. That kid is sharp as attack. And
I got him beating everybody. If he move up, I got him beating Tank. And I love Tank. I got him beating Tank because Stevenson is a complete fighter to me. When I see complete fighters,
you know how it is with
I
Tank.
say that
if he catches you, you can be as sharp as you want to be. Terry Norris. I've been watching boxing a long time. One of the sharpest fighters I ever seen, was Terry Norris for a little while. And then he fought Julian Jackson, and we know what happened. Tank's a puncher like that. If he lands that punch, I could see Stevenson washing him. But if he gets hit, maybe even just one time with that power, that's what makes Tank so exciting. I wish the fuck he would start fighting some of these guys. I would love to see him and Teofimo Lopez. I think that would be a great fight.
Well, I'm gonna tell you this, right? If Ryan looks impressive this weekend, you're gonna get Tank versus Ryan at the end of the year. I'm telling you. I'm telling you now. Go ahead and book it. Miss T, you can clip this. If Ryan looks impressive this weekend against Fortuna, Tank and Ryan are fighting. Tank and Ryan are fighting in December.
Oh, I believe
think
you.
that, even though I think there's better matchups out there for Tank, but I'm a Ryan fan. I think he gets criticized a little too much because he canceled a couple fights. But that kid's got all the talent in the world. He went 3-3 with David Haney in the amateurs, and yeah, that's the amateurs. But still, you ain't gonna be no scrub and beat Devin Haney 3 times out of 6 times. And he's got a mean left hook. Ryan does a mean left hook, man. Plus, he's sharp. He's a sharp boxer. He's fast, and he got a lot going on for him. Against Tank, I could see the same scenario playing out. I could see Ryan beating Tank and outboxing him, and maybe whooping his ass a little bit, and then bang.
I'm telling you now, book it. When Ryan fights Tank, he's getting knocked the fuck out.
Hey DJ, I'm booking it now. Look.
Yeah,
When Ryan fight, because it amazes me, right? It amazes me. One thing that I always point out about Tank Davis, right? It amazes me how his opponents, because Tank is used to fighting bigger guys. That size don't matter to him. It amazes me how all of his opponents just seem to walk into shit. You understand what I'm saying? Like, Tank does a great job of setting up his punches. His punch selection and his punch placement is absolutely pristine. His footwork is absolutely pristine. Now, if he does not respect your power, Tank will walk you down. He respected Rolly's power, but at the same time, he was walking Rolly into that punch all night. A lot of people will look at it like, oh, Tank lost rounds against Rolly. No, he was setting Rolly up the entire night because he knew Rolly was going to be dumb enough to walk into some shit. Now, the difference between Devin Haney and Shakur, Devin Haney and Shakur ain't going to walk into nothing. Tank is going to have to earn that knockout against them guys.
Rolly Romero, he had to press the action in that fight.
Boy, the Tank touched one of them. I feel sorry for them both. No.
Look, let me say something real fast, though.
Leave that. Tank touched and one of them. I feel sorry for him.
Okay, go ahead, Q. Go ahead, Q, baby. Go ahead.
No. Go ahead, Miss Destiny. I was just saying that. That's all I say. If Tank touch and one of them, I feel sorry for him, though.
Okay, so you can't touch either one of them, right? But let's be realistic. According to Tank, according to his trainer, according to Mayweather, according to Mayweather Senior, according to everybody, Devin Haney already tapped that ass. He beat that ass so bad he made fucking Tank quit. Let's be realistic,
Destiny,
though.
this
My
the thing.
my baby
This
brother
the
has
thing, though, man. I don't put much stock into them. I don't put much stock into them sparring stories because you hear about everybody getting beat up in sparring.
DJ, I'll let you cook. Let me say something. My baby Devin has never, ever touched the canvas. And fucking Tank quit on Devin. Why do you think he's so hesitant to get in the fucking ring with fucking Devin? Devin said, like, you know what? So-called Tank ain't with Mayweather no more. He can do what he wants to. He's a grown-ass man now. He took the training wheels off. He's all this and he's all that. Well, then move. And Devin said, like, yo, come get this smoke. Devin said he would drop the belts to tap that ass. Little buddy don't want the fucking smoke. So how do y'all think Tank, who don't want to fight fucking Devin, who's been fighting nothing but fucking C and D letter at the most, I would give Rolly a B- fighters. Don't want to get in the ring with a pure boxer. Do you understand? Like, he's a puncher boxer, is what Tank is. He does have some boxing skills, I'm not gonna lie. His footwork is not spectacular. It is very much minimum at best. He's very much, a basic fundamentalist. But I would say he's a boxer puncher, like Mike Tyson.
Oh, well, you street fighter right now.
Like Mike Tyson,
I'm being a street fighter right now. No.
With those sparring stories, I don't put much stock in the sparring stories because you hear about the best of the best getting beat up in sparring. Like Paul Spadafora beat up Mayweather in sparring back in the day. You hear stories about Errol Spence Jr. getting beat up in sparring. You done heard stories about Bud getting dropped in sparring. Hell, you heard about what's his name? Old dipshit. I'm glad he finally got knocked out. well, got knocked out again. What's his name, man? Oh, dumbass. Not he just got knocked out by Tyson Fury. Dillian White.
Dillian White.
You hear stories about Dillian White saying he knocked out Tyson Fury years ago in sparring. You hear stories about Dillian White knocking out AJ years ago in sparring. But when the lights get bright and them gloves get smaller and it ain't no damn headgear, what happens then? You know what I'm saying? Like, it's in sparring, you're not always just going in there to fight. You going in there to work on stuff. You might just going in there to be working on defense, or you might just want to work on this one particular combination, or just trying to get good looks from what your opponent is doing. It ain't even necessarily got to be a fight. With 16 ounce or 14 ounce gloves on and headgear, shit is different.
One fighter won't be in shape.
Yeah, in the sparring, they won't be in shape.
Yeah, so I just don't put a whole lot of stock in the sparring story.
Even amateurs. I hate it when people bring up the amateurs a lot because it don't translate. That's the only reason I hate it.
Oh, you don't like us talking about who guys beating up Bud?
Different sport.
Interview with like I want to say like a month ago, right? Or a month and a half ago. Shakur Stevenson did an interview with fucking Paul Malignaggi like a month and a half ago, right? He and Paul Malignaggi agreed that sparring they say it's pretty much like boxing. That's what they said most fighters get their confidence from. That's what he said. He's like, through sparring, he's like, it's pretty much like a real boxing match. He says where most these boxers get their fucking confidence from. And I can honestly say, when I see my ex-husband spar and my son's spar, I felt like, you know what? The niggas was not just in there like playing and tip-tapping and, goofing around. Like it was like real boxing matches. And Doghouse rules, y'all already know Doghouse rules is a whole different ball game. It's not just y'all, I'm just in here to goof off or whatever the case may be. But I digress.
One of y'all
said he ain't Devin. Allegedly, Devin ain't the only dude to beat taking up the spar. One of the best fighters on this planet right now that can't get a fight, that allegedly dropped Bud twice in sparring, Brian Norman Jr. can't get a fight right now for that very reason, because he allegedly beat up Tank while the Showtime cameras were there. So, like I said, man, these guys get beat. Everybody get beat up in sparring every now and then. Like I was saying earlier, you heard stories about Paul Spadafora beating up Mayweather in sparring years ago. But can he do that with 8-ounce gloves on when the lights get bright?
Yep.
But beat that ass, and that's what somebody that was actually at the fight.
Hey DJ, what's his record?
Into their fight, they don't finish the training camp, and the other guy's coming in cold. So if he gets the best of them in there, well, that might be expected. But what happens when they both have 6 to 8 weeks of training and the tape and the lights are up?
Hey, you with Top Rank?
He sound like right? He sound like he's a Top Rank representative and shit. Like, yo,
you from Top Rank?
Bullshit.
Jerry, they asking you,
Mr. Jerry, you with Top Rank?
I'm gonna go ahead and put it out here now. We're not gonna see Tank and Devin fight until probably the end of next year, because both of them guys got at least 2 fights ahead of them both. So I don't think we're gonna see that fight until the end of next year.
Y'all hear that jingling?
Realistically, that's when I see that fight happening at the end of next year.
Do y'all hear that jingling?
Yeah, what is that? Somebody's key?
What is that?
I got a question. Did y'all watch the Chisora fight over the weekend?
I didn't, Jerry. I ain't watched that shit.
Yeah, I don't care. I don't care nothing about UK boxing right now. The only guy over in the UK that even piques my interest is the guy that they protecting right now, and Conor Benn. They trying to get him in there with as many washed up fighters as they can. They're not gonna send him overseas to fight a Speedy Rashidi Ellis. They're not gonna send him overseas to fight a Boots Ennis. They're not even gonna send him over here to fight Crowley or even a Stanionis. Well, I've heard rumors about Eddie Hearn trying to get that Stanionis fight for Conor Benn, which I think would be a mistake.
Hey, hold on one guy. Hey, wait 1 second, Jerry. 1 second, Jerry, right quick. Jerry, we on the East Coast. I know it's nighttime over here, and it probably still daylight in Dallas and elsewhere. Who's standing next to a cricket?
Oh, I'm outside. I'm sorry. I'm outside.
Oh. I was say, kill that motherfucker. He ain't paying no dues to be on the show.
Miss T is mating season. It's mating season. They're gonna be loud.
Let's see if I'm here though in Houston. Let's go here in Houston, baby girl.
They getting it. What you was saying, Jared? What you said, Jared? I interrupted you.
All I was saying was it was a good fight.
It was a good fight.
That's all. They fought at a good pace for two old heavyweights. It was just a good scrap. I mean, everybody knows Chakur's got all them losses. He called out Wilder after the fight for what that's worth.
I know, right? He's trying to call out the king.
And look, Tony Bellew said the realest shit. He was like, "Nah, I'm good. I don't want to see that." He couldn't even fake it. He couldn't even fake it. He I think he wanted to, but he couldn't even fake it. He was like, "Nah, I don't want to see that." But hey, if you want to come over here and get knocked out, then fine.
DJ,
stays retired because I did not like what I've seen in the last two fights. He looked like a washed up fighter. Now he always will be able to punch. He'll probably be 70 years old and still have that bomb in his right hand and his left hand because he can punch with both hands, Wilder. But I just did not like what I seen with him. He done made a lot of money now.
But Jared, when you cheat him, I mean, what you want to say? Like, and I know D-Town listening. I don't want to rile you up. But that first and third fight, I mean, shit. If you give it your all in training camp and you not ducking and you trying to meet everybody and they gonna take the fight from you anyway. I mean, what do you do?
What does who do?
Did Tyson take 17 seconds to get back up in the third round? I mean the third
Tyson
fight.
Fury whipped Wilder in all three fights. The first fight he beat him. He should have got the
bullshit, Jared.
The second fight,
that's right.
Badly, and then the third fight he knocked him out, whipped him real bad. I know y'all love.
You ain't answered the question, Jared.
Deontay Wilder.
Jared, you didn't answer the question. You didn't answer the question, Jared.
Jared, I'm gonna say this right, and this is the only fighter I'm biased towards. But you know, that's my Alabama brother, so I'm gonna defend him, right? By Tyson Fury's own admission, he didn't hear anything after he got clipped in the first fight. Huh? After that, in that first fight against Wilder, by his own admission, he got hit, and the next thing he heard was 4. He was out. Jack Reese woke him up.
And he also said I was unconscious. So
Jack Reese woke him up. He gave him Jack Reese, the referee in that fight, by his own admission, said, "I want to give Tyson Fury the benefit of the doubt because this was a championship fight." He woke him up.
With me on that one.
He should not be fucking a referee after that shit. He should not be allowed to referee at that bullshit.
Jared, what do you call it?
Because people were saying that the fight should have been stopped, but it was clear that he wasn't out cold. How many times you seen a fighter get knocked out cold?
That's what he said. This is not something that we're guessing. This is what Tyson Fury said himself. He woke up at 4.
Watch this here. Jerry, name me something other than sleep that you can do unconscious.
And this, like I said, this is by Tyson Fury's own admission. This came out this man's own mouth. He didn't wake up until 4.
People learn how to drive cars. People's been able to commit murder. Honestly, like you talking about that's unconscious.
Never. That's not how getting knocked unconscious works. What Tyson Fury
Oh my God, Jerry, you're gonna answer the question. Stop filibustering.
He made the count. He barely made it.
Jerry, stop filibustering.
But he made it. Just
Jerry,
like Buster Douglas
Jerry, come on now.
Made it in Tokyo against
Jerry, once the fight starts.
Count of 10.
All right, just to move this on, right? To say Wilder was washed up and he dropped the best heavyweight in the world twice in that last fight is just I don't really know what to say to that. I'm telling you now, I'd favor Wilder over anybody else besides Tyson Fury. If he fights Anthony Joshua, he's knocking him the fuck out. If he fights Usyk, he's knocking him the fuck out. If he fights Joe Joyce, he's knocking him the fuck out. Like,
he got beautiful kids. He made a lot of money.
the
really
fuck
need
up out
Jerry,
here.
you
Whose man is
sounding
it?
like Bob's cousin real good right now because you filibustering the shit
It
out of
got
me.
shit to do with Bob Arum.
It got everything. This when you caking for him.
White
This is when
supremacist
you
right now.
caking
What
for
the
him,
fuck
Jerry.
out
I
here?
gotta
Shit to
get
do
you.
with Bob Arum. Bob Arum don't promote Deontay Wilder.
Quentin, frying pan. You got that frying pan I can borrow? Quentin, fry his ass. I
The
just
fuck up out
asked
of
I'm
here,
you.
yo.
telling you now,
I
if
just asked
when
you
Wilder comes back, whoever
when
his
somebody.
victim is gonna be is getting knocked out. That's
But
just plain and simple.
all I
And
was
all these
saying
other
is
heavyweights are getting
you
knocked out.
can't do nothing unconscious. Fight over. I don't care what fight it is. When you're unconscious, fight over. So to me, that first
when you
fight,
get up within 10 seconds, then fight not
He
over.
won that
fight
first
over
fight.
when you're unconscious. They call it off.
Well,
You can't fight
apparently he
during
wasn't
when being
unconscious.
unconscious.
When the camera got
Smith
over top
Oh,
of Tyson Fury at the count of 4, his eyes were
They
wide.
wave it off any other time.
He was ready to get knocked out, and his
Whose
eyes were
man
open.
is it?
did I fry him, Q? Because he
Man,
ain't answering that
They
question.
wave it off any other time.
Yeah.
So that's why the ref got criticized, and that's why the ref said, I gave him the benefit of the doubt.
Fuck
He didn't
Jack.
give him the benefit of the doubt for a long count.
I done
He
watched
gave him the
Jack Reese
benefit
referee a
of the
lot,
doubt
and he ain't do
just to
that shit
count at
before.
all. Because, yes, a lot of refs would that big, what I call a hard knockdown. Of course, he went down like a building, and it looked like he was knocked out. When I was watching it, I said, damn, they done fucked up and got knocked out in the last round when you had to fight one. But we all seen what happened. The big motherfucker got up, and what can you do? He got up. He barely got up. He just barely beat the count.
I mean, he was down there for about 17 seconds. Shit, he had a lot of time to get up.
And to say that he won that first fight, like Tyson Fury barely threw any punches the first 4 rounds. Do you remember that first fight?
Right over top of Fury.
Exactly.
He barely threw any punches. He didn't come on until like the 5th, 6th round of that first
Bob
fight.
Arum. Gotta be
And
better
then
than that, Bob
you
Arum.
take that coupled with you give Wilder the first 6, you give Wilder the first 4 rounds. You give Wilder the first 4 rounds, and then he got the 2 knockdowns. So
which he may have, then the fight's a draw. So that's cool. Let's run it back and get a more definitive.
So at the very least, it was a draw in the first fight. At the very least, it was either a draw or Deontay Wilder knocked him out, like I believe he did. Now the other 2 fights, they are what they are. Whatever. I never got into the whole glove and the water and all that. I never got into any of all of that. All I'm saying is the last 2 fights, Tyson Fury won, but I think Deontay Wilder knocked him out in that first fight.
I got people in the background. I ain't even know. Sorry, y'all.
Oh, OG Sheldon Moore finna come.
Hold on, Jerry. You filibuster me real good, but I fried your ass in that pan. We got Bo. Let me get these 2 gentlemen the floor. Bo first, and then Shelton Moore next. Bo, what you got on? I know you've been listening.
Shelton, come here with that bullshit, Shelton.
Bo.
Yeah, what's up?
Go ahead, get the floor. What you got on there? I know you've been listening.
All right, listen, I'm gonna put it like this, man. I don't agree with Dre a lot, but I'm gonna agree with him on this one. Tyson Fury whipped Deontay Wilder ass in the first round. I mean, the first fight, and Deontay Wilder got a gift fucking draw in the decision. And yeah, he knocked Tyson Fury down 2 times. And Tyson Fury, you can say, yeah, he beat the count and everything. But when it went to that scorecards, that fight wasn't even close. And Deontay Wilder got away with a draw. So we could kill that one and on his own. Now the third fight, we could say, yeah, he was down, and the referee did. I mean, he was down for a while. That was, you're right. That could have been like 17 seconds. That fight could have stopped right then and there. And that's where I think the referee messed up in the third fight. But that,
you was my friend. So
no, I'm just being honest. I mean, but listen, like my thing is this.
That what you sound like, Bo.
Oh, okay. I'm just speaking truth. You know what I'm saying? I'm not gonna sit up here and
I'm just joking with you, Bo.
Damn, she getting at me. Nah, but I'm just saying, like, I'm just speaking truth because, at the end of the day, like, I understand why they got a lot of fans, but I just got to look at it like this. My man could have fought Vitaly Klitschko back in the day. That fight never happened. He could have fought like other, other fighters. Like, this dude literally had a manufactured career. Like, he literally had a manufactured career. all the way up to when he fought Luis Ortiz, or if you want to say Bermain Stavern, fine, that's cool. But at the end of the day, you know, the man did good. I like Wilder, but I gotta speak truth on this. Excuse me.
Whose man is this?
Oh, Destiny. This my food. Let him talk. Let him talk. This my food. I'm gonna eat this.
Oh no, you gonna keep eating. I'm gonna just keep feeding you because it ain't gonna work. So at the end of the day, you know what I'm saying? I'm just letting you know right then and there. The man been overhyped. He been overhyped. I'm just telling you. This just the reality of it.
And that's my
Miss
ship, y'all.
Destiny. Let me get it. Let me get it. Please let him finish.
Hold
Please
on,
let him
finish. I gotta let Shelton in first, DJ. Then I'll let you in.
Nah. I'm saying, like DJ. I understand you from Alabama. You gonna stick by your boy, and that's all good. But at the end of the day, you mean to tell me you gonna put him in a class of like a Lennox Lewis and a Mike Tyson or one of Riddick Bowe or Vander Holyfield? I mean, come on, man. Like the dude had a manufactured
None
career.
of these guys in this era are of that
But I'm saying
that pedigree. None of these heavyweights are. None of them.
Okay, including Deontay Wilder, right?
Wilder, Fury, Joshua, none of these guys beat Lennox Lewis. And I hated Lennox Lewis.
Okay, well, I mean, we agree on that. We agree on that, but I'm just saying, I mean,
Deontay Wilder would have knocked this nigga the fuck out. Oliver McCall knocked that nigga the fuck out. Racine,
you saying Deontay Wilder would have knocked out?
Stop it,
Deontay Wilder would have knocked out Lennox Lewis?
Stop it, Shelton.
That's not Shelton. Shelton ain't even say nothing yet.
Yo, she said Deontay Wilder would have knocked out Lennox Lewis.
What did she say, Miss T?
She said, stop it, Shelton. That was Bo talking.
Bo, stop fucking mad, Bo. Bo, stop it. Stop that capping. Stop that fucking capping. Stop doing it. Stop doing it. Stop capping.
Destiny, you think that Deontay Wilder would have knocked out Lennox Lewis?
Yeah, you know so too.
I don't know about this.
Lennox Lewis beat the fuck out of him.
Come on now,
Lennox Lewis would have beat his ass. Lennox Lewis would have beat his ass. That dude can't fight.
Lennox Lewis is an all-time great champion.
And that punch.
DJ said it best. Look, y'all waited until I was driving to get back in the show, but I'm gonna catch y'all when I get home. Just leave me on the panel. I'm gonna turn this phone down. But I'm gonna say this: DJ hit it right on the head. Ain't none of these dudes, Usyk, Fury, none of these dudes could have lasted in the 90s. They all get their ass kicked.
Yeah, I think Fury would have did all right.
I know you didn't say that.
Ibuchi would have knocked Fury the fuck out, man.
Lennox Lewis would have beat his motherfucking ass.
All we can do
Vitaly would have fucked Tyson Fury up. Vitaly would have fucked him up.
Well, we speculating right now, Jerry. We speculating that he would got fucked up in the 90s by all of them. Holyfield, Tyson, Lewis, you name it.
Ibuchi. Hell, even Chris Bird. Chris Bird with his fast hands and his good footwork and his head movement, he would have gave a lot of these guys problems. I think Chris Bird could beat Usyk.
David Tua.
Yeah.
David Tua, goodness gracious. I don't know. I think Wilder could have probably got David Tua.
No, I don't know that pressure.
I think he could have got David Tua.
David Tua had a chin from hell, bro.
And
he had a chin. He had a chin.
You guys are doing a little bit of revisionist history. That the 90s, that was a good era right there, no question, with some great fights. Bo and Holyfield. Yes, they were top heavyweights. But I think it's a little bit revisionist history to say that none of these guys. I think Wilder and Fury both would have competed. I don't know if they'd have beat who they'd have beat, but I think they both could have competed in that era.
Fury ain't shit. That's my saying so. He ain't shit. Y'all like him because he big and he can move like a little guy. That's his claim to fame. That's all I get.
He puts all his
He beat Wilder ass.
He didn't beat him the first fight or the third fight. I ain't gonna say nothing about the second.
Bo, you tripping.
I had to get that shit from Coming to America. You know what I'm saying?
He beat him worse in the third fight.
Ain't nobody gonna answer the question. Jerry, you still not answering the question that I asked a while ago. I said, what do you do unconscious other than sleep? I'll wait.
No, Miss C, he's unconscious though. A man has actually been to like go and shoot somebody. A man has been known to actually drive cars, order food. People been known to do a lot of things unconscious when there's like, sleep. I guess you sleepwalking. I guess you can say that.
In a fight, okay, I'll take that. But in a fight, do the fight get paused because
No,
you're unconscious?
there's nothing. Yeah, you're right.
Over?
Yeah, Missy, it's over.
It's over.
The rundown. The
I
rundown.
want to go back to Bo's point that Wilder's career was manufactured. So I just how you saying Wilder's career was manufactured?
He high and drunk. That's how.
Oh, I'm bad. No, I'm here.
Okay.
Hey,
yeah, I just in what way was his career manufactured?
Let's run down the opponents he fought. Right, he had a chance to fight Vitaly Klitschko, but his own management thought he was a baby to even take a fight with Vitaly Klitschko, even though the man had over 30 fights by that time. And what's so crazy is that look at the caliber opponents that he fought.
Get him, Bo.
I mean, the man, the whole time, like he had a chance. What's his name? Dillian White was the man's mandatory, and somehow he didn't want to fight Dillian White. He called the man gay.
Well, Dillian didn't want to fight him.
Hold on, let's see. I'm gonna answer. I'm gonna let him finish. Because I'm gonna kill all this.
All right, go ahead and kill all it because I'm gonna just rebuttal everything you can do.
Okay, so let's just go ahead. Let's go ahead and take a big rewind, right? Do you remember who Anthony Joshua was signed with before he became a champion? He was with PBC. You remember that, right? You remember he was with PBC, right?
Anthony Joshua was with PBC. Hold on.
Anthony Joshua was with PBC, and then Eddie Hearn came and got it when they started negotiating fights. Okay,
I don't remember all that one, but all right,
it's cool. It's cool that you don't remember it. I like that you don't remember because I'm from
I don't remember no Anthony Joshua.
Sit down, get your pen and paper, get your pencil and paper out, right? Okay,
I just
he was supposed to fight when Deontay Wilder was supposed to fight Charles Martin. When Deontay Wilder was supposed to fight Charles Martin for the IBF belt, Eddie Hearn came in the middle of the night after they had already been negotiating and stole it and bought that belt for Anthony Joshua. Let's go ahead and get that out there because Charles Martin was on PBC and was supposed to fight Deontay Wilder, but he went and bought Anthony Joshua for more money. That's number one. Number two, Joseph Parker came to one of Deontay's fights. They were negotiating and about to fight. Eddie Hearn came in the middle of the night, offered him $10 million on top of the $7 million that PBC was going to pay Joseph Parker to unify that belt. So that's another belt that Eddie Hearn bought for Anthony Joshua. No fault to Deontay Wilder, of course. Another fight.
This man
Anthony Joshua fought Povetkin. Povetkin popped dirty before he was supposed to fight Deontay Wilder. That's why Deontay Wilder ended up having to beat up Chris Arreola after he broke his hand and beat the shit out of him with one hand down here in Birmingham, a fight that I went to. So when you say his career has been manufactured, you got to look at those three fights in particular, where two of them he should have been unified, and another fight that those are three fighters that Anthony Joshua beat, by the way. Three fights that Anthony Joshua got strictly because Eddie Hearn came and bought the belts, not because Deontay Wilder was ducking or because Deontay Wilder didn't want those fights. They simply made business. It was always a business decision when it came between fighting Anthony Joshua and Deontay Wilder. And they offered Anthony Joshua $50 million to fight Deontay Wilder. Deontay Wilder agreed to take the 12. Tyson Fury confirmed this, by the way, because they sent him they showed him the contract, and he confirmed everything. This is why I say Eddie Hearn and Anthony Joshua decided to go in another direction, right? So they offered him $50 million. Anthony Joshua, to his credit, said, cool, let's do it. Eddie Hearn was like, nah, his name's not big enough. Nah, let's not do that. They moved around this man for the majority of his career. So when you say his career was manufactured, I have a problem with that because these other heavyweights moved around him. They did everything they could to keep those belts away from him. Eddie Hearn, which I really don't blame him. Why would I send my chinny fighter halfway across the world to fight a knockout artist? When Anthony Joshua got dropped by 40-year-old Klitschko coming off of a 17-month layoff and a loss to Tyson Fury, when he came off a 17-month layoff and a loss to Tyson Fury and dropped Anthony Joshua in Wembley Stadium, that killed the Wilder fight right there. That killed it. Eddie Hearn was not going to put Joshua in the ring with Deontay Wilder.
Man, these narratives, bro. Let me tell you something,
Those
man.
are not narratives. Those are facts.
Okay.
Those are facts.
Go ahead, Bo.
That's not a narrative. Those are facts.
Ahead,
okay, I got you. Now let me just kill this narrative right here. So he's saying Eddie Hearn buying belts, right? What's wrong with the PBC? Did Eddie Hearn get in the way with Vitaly Klitschko? Absolutely not. You talk about dudes popping dirty, right? Anthony Joshua still fought him. Why Deontay Wilder didn't do it? Why the PBC ain't put up more money? You saying Eddie Hearn come and swoop it down? What's wrong with the PBC? The PBC supposed to be the ones, everybody be bigging up all the time. Why they ain't spending money for Wilder?
Well, because Joshua's a much bigger draw. They got more money to spend.
No, I'm just saying. I'm saying like this. Going this route, right?
Title shot.
Joshua's a draw in the UK because Joshua's a draw in the UK because when he came to America, they had the comp tickets. When he came to Madison Square Garden, they had the comp tickets. So
trying to get him, except for the Povetkin fight, which you pointed out, which is true. Povetkin pop dirty.
Anthony Joshua still fought him. So my thing is
that was years later. That was years later. He didn't fight him immediately after that. That was some time had went by and then he fought him. He waited for him to get older and then he fought him.
He waited for who to get older?
He waited for Povetkin to hold on. I can pull it up right now. I can tell you how much time went in between.
You know what's so crazy is Deontay Wilder started his career in what 2008, I believe, or what year he started? He started
when he won the bronze medal in the Olympics.
Okay, yeah, and he started his career that same year, right? When did Anthony Joshua start his career?
I don't know.
Oh, okay. And it's funny.
Anthony Joshua was in the Olympics in 2012.
In a short amount of fights, he was able to progress in a shorter amount of fights compared to Deontay Wilder.
But I will say this, y'all. I will say this.
Because his promoter dropped more money. That's why. It ain't because of skill. Because his promoter dropped more money. It wasn't because of skill.
But hold on. You said, personally, you just sat here and said Anthony Joshua was signed to the PBC. Never heard of that in my life, but you say he was. So I will take your word until I actually look it up. I don't think he was ever signed to the PBC, but if he was, that's more embarrassing for Deontay Wilder that a man that you said was signed to the PBC and Anthony Joshua was able to accomplish as much as he accomplished in less amount of fights than
after he left. You leaving that part out after he left.
No, I'm saying how many fights he been with the PBC? Because he accomplished more in less than 20 fights than what Deontay Wilder had in like 30 something fights. So he must have fought on a PBC card, but he wasn't.
Joshua, you won't get more opportunity.
Get them together real fast, Miss T. Put everybody on mute so you can cook Little Buddy. You put everybody on mute so you can cook Little Buddy. Because right now this shit is fucking bananas. I feel like I'm on a fucking circus. Somebody's like they're acting like fucking monkeys right now, Miss T. Please cook these fools.
Man, this girl don't want to say monkey calling now. Golly.
Like,
she called dudes monkeys and whatnot.
Don't do me, honey. Don't do me.
No, ain't nobody. All I was gonna say is when Frank Martin fought Anthony Joshua, I don't know the behind the scenes, but I do walk away feeling like somebody sold the belt because I seen Frank Martin fight later, and I said, well, why he couldn't? It wasn't even about the competition of it all. It was like he was lackluster when he fought Anthony Joshua, not because of so much what Anthony was doing, but mainly because of what's his name, Martin wouldn't do shit. I really do feel like he sold that belt.
Miss T, you don't say that about the Ndongo and Crawford fight.
But
not that good.
I don't say that about Crawford fight because I don't think nobody sold the belts when Crawford fought, and I don't think nobody sold the belts when Errol fought.
That was the most pathetic, undisputed championship fight ever. That was
off winning that fight, and then he would have got a even more lucrative rematch. He got like $5 million for that fight, and that's why he got it, and Wilder didn't, because that fight ain't worth that kind of money here in the States. Wilder versus Charles Mountain, it wasn't going to be worth that type of money, not even close. But over there, and one of them big stadiums with the way AJ draws and how popular boxing is over in England, they were able to pay him $5 million fucking dollars. So you can't blame Charles Martin for taking the fight.
I'm not, I blame him for not fighting him, Jerry. I blame him for not executing. Now, did he have the bubble guts or some shit? I don't know. On the night of the fight,
you never know. But I think Joshua's just better than him.
I think Martin could have did a lot better, and it would have been more competitive. That was a front row seat to some bullshit right there. That fight. What you say, Destiny?
So they say boxing is bigger over there in UK, which he's right. It is. It's bigger over there, but the money does not equate to the popularity. You make less, although the British pound is worth more than the US dollar, but they make less money over there than they do in America because their pay-per-views, I think it's like $19,
$24, $29.
The Joshua Klitschko fight, they got the Joshua Klitschko fight for $25 on pay-per-view.
Wait, let me finish. Which equates to about like maybe $35 or close to $40 for a fight. And their tickets, when you go to the fucking live fights, they're nowhere near like $100 something dollars like we pay, or $200 or $300. They don't charge that kind of money over there. So yeah, it looks good. It looks good because they fill up a whole like arena or whatever the fuck case may be, and they may sell like 400, 500,000 pay-per-views. But when you break it down dollar for dollar, you break down the pound, so the British pound is worth more than the dollar. I think it's like $1.25 to get one British pound, somewhere around there. The dollar is still more mightier. You're fucking welcome. You're fucking. I just learned you something, Jerry. I just learned you something, Jerry. You're fucking welcome. You're fucking welcome, Jerry.
Even though it's cheaper,
you're motherfucking welcome now.
A lot of people that buy it, and then when they have the fights, especially Anthony Joshua, they're fighting in a stadium with 40, 50, 60,000 people, whereas an average card here is 12,000, 14,000 for a good crowd. Over there, it's a lot bigger than that. And so, that's why I say it's just
the money does not equate to shit. It's less money still with 40 and 50,000 people.
Well, Anthony Joshua is making more money than any American over here right now, so it doesn't matter about
he making a lot.
And you got 3-4 times more. Then the money starts to equal out. That's why they have fights over there.
But not at 19, Jerry. If you charge $74 over here and they charging like $19, I mean, half of us fuck off $19.
I mean, I wish they charge $19 for pay-per-view over here.
You most definitely bullshit.
Yeah, we don't say that like a bad thing. We say that as jealous fans. Hell, I wish I could pay $12 to get into Wembley Stadium and see Anthony Joshua fight.
The money equates, the money stacks up because there's more people buying the fight. That's all.
It doesn't come out,
but they live games be trash though. That's why they always, if you ever notice with these UK fights, right? They always report, oh, we had 80,000 in the stadium, but what was the gate though?
That part.
That part. I mean, their dollar's worth more than ours. Everything in England, if you ever been over there,
we established that. Jerry, are you listening or are you fucking retarded?
What they do, what the price they do, because it's cheaper here. The reality is we're getting overcharged here. There've been a lot of pay-per-views on, especially recently, $80 that ain't worth no fucking $80. And we all know that is true. That Keith Thurman Barrios fight. You got two fighters coming off losses. One fighter coming off of a lengthy layoff. One fighter, Barrios, coming off of a knockout loss. And that's pay-per-view? $80? Come on now.
Well, we all agree that this shit that they be charging over here is just way too damn much. Seems too much. But I agree with Destiny when you talking about. But Jared, hold on. I agree with the exchange rate. It's hard to match it up because in the end, it's about the dollars you bring in, right? More so than the people. They care more about the money. But because that shit is so cheap, I mean, we will fuck a $20 bill off in a blink of an eye on an average every day. All of us do. But over there, that's all I gotta pay. And I'm going to a fight? Shit. Sign me up. But hold on, Sheldon is back. I gotta get him the floor, and I want to say, who dropped off? Big Fish and Quentin. Thanks for joining the panel, and D Young. Thank you guys for joining the panel. Do come back, but Shelton, you got the floor. Shelton.
Shelton, his microphone be fucked up sometimes, sis.
Now he ain't
Yeah, I
got
think
Nah,
I
ain't
believe he
even
got
there.
situated.
but but in the end of the day, it's like, it's hot as apples and oranges when it comes to the UK. But the UK must not bring too much money because what's his name? Always trying to run over there to Dubai. You know it ain't nothing but money over there, bitch.
To America. That's why they want to run over here to America. They know where the money is at. Where
Hey,
people gonna
Shelton,
take
you
top
back?
out.
Shelton, you back? Can you hear me, Shelton? Shelton.
Yeah,
We can't hear
I think
you.
he's still getting situated. Yeah, I think he's still getting situated.
I mean, you also got to look at it like this way too. Like, let's look at the sentiment versus that damn I believe it's Billy Joe Saunders when he fought over here, and I believe was that Dallas show. He did was like maybe 8
they fought in Dallas. Yeah.
He just was like maybe I forgot, it was like it was very low numbers he did at the fucking gate. Mind you, Finding Nemo fought that same year, although I feel like Jerry Jones probably bought his tickets. But at the end of the day, Finding Nemo still outsold him. It was only 16,000 people in attendance versus like 73,000 people with fucking cinnamon, because those tickets were like next to nothing. Like they were going for like $5, $10. Half of them was comped. So I mean, yeah, it looks good. I mean, sounds good. But even with that money being worth millions of hours,
Tyson Fury got $32 million
for money though.
Wants to go over there. That's not chump change. That's one.
But that's not from what they paid. That's what. Now we moving.
Having big fights over there. That boxing is way more popular there.
Tyson Fury got the complexion for the protection, Jerry.
Pay-per-view is 350,000 over there. It's much more. So believe me, if the money was there,
But hold on, hey Mystique, before he fought Wilder, his complexion ain't mean nothing in the UK because he wasn't making shit over there.
You're right, Bo, but you know what? Tyson Fury, he would do. That's what it was. They needed to humble Wilder, and he was the only man that they could do. Any white man would do on that one. And I ain't being racist.
Well, let me ask you this, Miss T. Hold on, let me ask you this.
You got the
how come Joshua sells out then? Because he ain't got the complexion for the connection.
We just told you he don't get paid. That the gate don't be that much. $19 shit. We do that for lunch.
Joshua draws lots of money.
19. Okay, you can say $19, $20, whatever. $20 times 94,000 is a lot of money.
Yeah, but is it do it come out the same when you maybe have 40,000 people and you charging 80, and you charging hundreds, you charging thousands?
But where do you have 80,000 at? We don't never have we ain't got no fighters.
I said 40,000, but you looking at the people, Shelton. You looking at the people.
Yeah, 40,000
money in the end of the day. It come out the same.
Yeah, 40,000. It's not going. You can sell 40,000 tickets at our prices, and if you sell 94,000 tickets with $20 and $30 prices, because believe you me, all them tickets say $20 and $30. They still gonna be more than 40,000.
I don't think so.
That's just basic math.
It's close to
the on top of that, right? I think about it more so in a geographical sense, right? England is a very small country. It's a country about the size of Texas. Can you imagine if Deontay Wilder? Just think about this, right? If Deontay Wilder didn't have to go anywhere besides Alabama and Atlanta to fight, what his would look like?
He'd sell out. He'd sell out everywhere.
Yeah. Texas, though. Let's get that straight. England's not the same size as Texas. And let's talk about the UK, because it's not just England. We're talking about the UK. That includes Scotland, fucking Ireland, too. You're fucking welcome. I think
Scotland, Wales, Northern Ireland, all that. Gotcha.
Yeah. You're welcome. You're welcome.
But the thing is, we got to stop doing that, comparing who sells the most and who doesn't. Nobody really gives a fuck. We want to see the great fights. That's what
about all the time.
That's what makes how the fights get made. It's where the money's at. We know
that's why I said it. That's why they say.
If you're not pulling any money, you're gonna have a real hard time making the big fights.
Because that's what they care about.
I mean, a perfect example is the biggest fight in American boxing is not made yet, because they keep saying the same thing, because the money ain't there. And I was relaying this. I was relaying this on Billy's panel today. Look, I'm a contractor. Y'all know that. So I deal with people all the time, casual people who don't really follow boxing the way we do. And I have you guys on sometimes when I'm working. So they'll come in the room or they'll come outside to where I'm working at. And they're like, hey, what they talking about? They talking about boxing? Well, who's fighting? And I say, oh, man, we trying to get this fight going. The biggest fight in American boxing is Errol Spence and Terrence Crawford. And you know what the first question out of their mouths are?
Who is Errol Spence?
Who is that?
What? Who's that? Yeah.
And OG Sheldon, to that point, when I was telling guys, my friends and my close friends, right, I'm going to Texas to see Errol Spence fight Ugas. Who's like, who the fuck is Ugas? When is he fighting Crawford? That's all they kept asking. When is he fighting Crawford? When is he fighting Crawford? When is he fighting
and
Crawford?
That's people.
When I went to Tank's fight. When I went to Tank's fight last year, and I was like, yeah, Tank's fight. Oh, so he ain't fighting Lopez or Devin Haney? Nah, he ain't fighting them yet. Oh, okay, let me know when he fighting them.
Yeah. And that's down south. I'm telling you what's happening in Los Angeles. They say, who is that?
They know
to Errol and Bud. They don't know either of them. They have no idea who these people are.
And you really believe that shit, and you know what? That's on you. They know who the fuck Errol Spence and fucking
No, they don't. I'm telling you, Destiny. No, they don't. They don't know these people. Casual fans do not know these people. They don't know them. I'm gonna tell you who they know, Destiny. Listen to me for a second. Listen to me for a second. I'm gonna tell you who they know. They know the guy off the Hennessy commercial.
I don't believe you.
They know the guy on the Under Armour
Destiny,
billboard.
let him talk. Destiny, let him talk.
They know the guy from the Hennessy commercial. They know the guy that's on the Under Armour billboards. And they know the guy who has the Gatorade commercial. And they know Tank Davis because they kids be following him on Instagram.
So you say Ryan Garcia, Cinnamon, and who else?
The Hennessy commercial guy is Cinnamon. The Under Armour guy is Anthony Joshua. Gatorade guy is Ryan Garcia, and Tank Davis because they kids follow him on Instagram. These other motherfuckers, they don't know. I'm telling you, they don't know.
It's funny, they know two foreigners more than they know the rest. They didn't know these guys
because they get more publicity than these other guys. We follow boxing. We talk boxing every day. We know these guys. The casual people out here in California have no idea who these people are.
I don't believe you. I don't believe you, and I don't believe them. Either you lying or they lying. Somebody's lying in between.
You must not be a casual fan.
He talking about casuals, not regular.
I don't believe him, though. I still don't believe him, Miss T. I just don't. I don't believe it. I feel like it's capping.
That's because you're not a casual fan.
Okay, let me ask you a question, Destiny. Let me ask you a question. You tell me a boxer that you've seen on a TV commercial in the last 10 years. I'll wait for you. Tell me one. Besides the Mike Tyson. We ain't talking about him. Tell me one.
I don't even see commercials, though, to be honest. I don't know if that's why I actually like seeing a commercial. Besides when they do it on ESPN.
Does anybody here besides that? Well, Destiny don't have a TV. Let's leave her out. Does anybody else here have a TV?
Yeah, I haven't seen anybody else show it.
I don't know.
Nobody.
The only two right now that are really in commercials is Ryan Garcia with that damn Gatorade commercial. You got well, now Manny Pacquiao's gone, but you had Manny Pacquiao with the Hennessy commercial. You got Canelo with a Hennessy commercial. I've seen Anthony Joshua in the Under Armour commercials when they doing their sports apparel across all sports, whether it's baseball, football, basketball, boxing, whatever. You see Anthony Joshua, right?
Conor McGregor with the whiskey.
Even Conor McGregor, because he's got his own whiskey and he was.
But he's not boxing. He's not boxing. We ain't talking about him.
Yeah. But what I get with OG, you don't see the Errol Spences and the Tank Davis, even the Shakurs and the Devin Haneys in commercials. You don't see them in commercials.
What I'm trying to relate to you, Destiny, is this. If Madison Avenue doesn't know you, the country doesn't know you.
Already heard you. I don't believe it. That's what I'm trying to tell you. I just don't believe it.
Yeah, that's fine. You don't have to believe it. I'm just telling you what I see.
Who dropped off?
Damn, DJ dropped off.
Damn. Oh, what's up, Quinn?
Yeah, you don't have to believe it. That's fine. You don't have to believe it. I'm just telling you what it is out here. I don't know what's happening in Texas or Chicago or anywhere else. I'm telling you what's happening out here, and nobody knows these things. That's the truth.
Okay. Fair enough.
These fighters can be regional. That's why I don't believe in always fighting at your hometown. That's a good kiss goodbye, or later in your career. But you need to drum up business. You need to go everywhere. You need to travel the country or something. You need to go to the Barclays.
More regional fights. That's why you've seen Crawford fighting in his hometown. Errol Spence has the benefit of fighting in Texas, 40 million fans there. So he's been able to fight at Dallas Cowboy Stadium. That any event they put on there.
We gotta talk. We gotta talk correct, Jerry. You said 40 million fans in Texas. Not everybody in Texas like Errol Spence.
Well, for 40 million people is what I'm saying.
Yeah.
But a lot of Texas is a lot.
40 million? No, wait, 40 million. There's not even 40 million people in fucking Texas.
State like Spence, you won't benefit.
There's 14 million people in Texas. There is not 40 million people in Texas. What are you talking about, sir?
And it's no secret, it's not that popular in the U.S. no more.
Are you meaning 40,000?
40,000. Way below football, basketball, hockey, baseball. It's way, way down. It's the first time in my time watching boxing, almost 40 years. I've never seen it at such a low. Why is that the case? There's several reasons for it. Overpriced pay-per-views are clearly one. I pay for DAZN, that's $22 a month. I pay for Showtime, that's $30 a month. I pay for ESPN. Right off the bat, I done spent $50, $60 a month, and several months sometimes go by, and it's not even a decent fight on any of them channels. Here in the States, it's expensive to be a boxing fan, and the fighters ain't fighting each other like they used to. Not that long ago in the 90s. The fighters was matching up better, and boxing's just in a low place right now in the United States. And we need this Spence Crawford fight.
Jerry, there's not 40 million people that live in fucking in Texas. Jerry, down. There's not 40 million people that live in fucking Texas. You're fucking welcome. So you meant 40,000? The fuck are you even talking about?
40,000 living in Texas, Destiny? Come on now. It's more than 40,000 people.
40 million. I said he must be
but
talking
you
about
said 40,000 living in Texas. It's way more than 40,000 people living in Texas.
Then I say that. Clean the wax of your ears. I said,
yes,
40 people was in attendance for a fight for fucking.
Well, that's why I say let's be clear. He said 40 million fans. I said you meant 40 million people live in Texas.
People, that's what
but then
Texas is the second most populated state in the union behind California and New York. Texas is third.
That's the most populated state in America.
I think it's second or third. Second or third most populated state. Am I right?
That's my simple point.
I think New York is.
New York's number one. California's number two. Texas is number three.
But boxing is just not that big here in the States, and it's getting worse every day. And the more the networks can't make fights between each other, let's face it.
Then Jerry, they need to stop paying Canelo $40 million.
They should have been done made this.
But they need to stop paying Canelo $40 million, Jerry.
But here we are.
To fight a whole bunch of no names.
Yeah, but Canelo is the brand. So he got no. Canelo has his own brand. He got his core fans that's going to support him no matter who the hell he fights.
Not worth $40 million.
No, I'm just saying, but it's the same thing with Mayweather. Mayweather was a brand, and when you the brand, it doesn't matter who they put you in the ring with, you're gonna sell out regardless. And that's the same thing with Canelo.
But it's not worth like with Mayweather, I'm gonna tell you right now. If Mayweather gonna fight in his day, when he gonna fight in Vegas gonna make $1 billion that weekend. You can take that to the bank.
Yeah,
you can't say that about nobody else. So to me, if when they be talking about how much to pay these people, everybody other than Tyson and Mayweather is not bringing in that kind of dough, in my opinion.
Well, I got different with you on that, Miss T, because they just went over there and got $80 million for this other fight.
I don't care if it's DAZN.
So you tell me somebody else that's getting $80 million to put on the fight.
Money that they're not going to make money off of. When they paid Canelo $52 million to fight Plant, they turned right around and offered them a 2-fight deal for $100 million, $50 million a fight. If they lost money on that Plant fight, ain't no way they're turning around and offering him that kind of money.
What we can't do, Jerry, is we can't act like that. We can't act like the accounting ledger is matching up, Jerry. Jerry, they doing it because he's Canelo. One of you guys said he's a brand. They doing it, Jerry, because he's Canelo and he's a brand. They want to do it. You can't convince me. They can't. Jerry, you cannot convince me that the dollars adding up.
away millions, tens of millions of dollars.
Canelo ain't even break $1 million in pay-per-view.
They're not in a position to throw away millions of dollars. None of them are. They're not that dumb. Canelo Alvarez is the cash cow right now. You might not like it.
And I ain't saying he ain't make it. I ain't saying he, but he ain't break $1 million.
Nobody will ever be the cash cow that Mayweather was, but he's the current cash cow.
He ain't break
No,
$1 million.
he's not the biggest guy. The biggest guy is that dude over there in London. That guy's making more money than all these dudes put together.
Well,
that's the truth. That's the truth.
Factual.
He's making more money than all these dudes put together.
It was Deontay Wilder. You're fucking welcome. You want to go by actual numbers?
Queen the other night.
Fights all year better than anybody else's fights. You're fucking welcome.
Joshua.
You've been talking to everybody. Stop talking. Let somebody else talk.
The Deontay Wilder ain't never got $80 million for one fight.
What I'm saying, Shelton, is
that motherfucker did.
Jerry make it seem like that they wouldn't do it if it didn't add up. They would do stuff if it didn't add. They overpay people and underpay people all the time. Can we agree on that?
Yeah. They lost money on the Bivol fight. They lost on the Bivol fight. They lost money on that fight.
80 million for one fight, though. Who got 80 million? I'll wait.
Anthony Joshua got $80 million to fight Andy Ruiz the second time.
In Dubai.
That's a fact. You can Google that.
In Dubai.
You can Google that. You can Google that. That's fact. Yeah, that's fact.
In Dubai.
You got that.
That's not the States. That's not
England. No. I'm not saying it's the States. I'm saying he's making more money than all these dudes. That's why the dude worth $200 million, and none of these other dudes are.
That was not cool. That's what was being reported, though. That was not the truth.
But we can't let the narrative be that they paying these people to the letter what they worth. They underpaid Spence at PBC. They underpaid him and have been for years.
Yeah, because the nigga he bringing in the biggest pay-per-view he ever had in his team was 350,000. The nigga's not the money man they say he is.
And they get it wrong.
350,000 ain't shit.
They don't lose
so true.
And then go right back and say, you know what? Let me do that again. Let me lose tens of millions of dollars again.
But he's worth more than 1.5 and 2 million. Come on, y'all. And I'm not the biggest.
Not to them. He's not. That's why they paying him that.
That's what I'm saying, Shelton. They do what
yeah, not to them. He's not.
They do. What
he's not worth. Now he gets money. He gets money on the back end. He gets that pay-per-view shares of that. That boosts his purse up to like 5, 6, 7 million. But what they paying him is what he's worth. That's what they deem he's worth. And we have to understand that a lot of people with a whole lot more money than me, you, or anybody on this panel think that's what he's worth.
Well, exactly. And they don't just pull those numbers out of their ass. They got people working around the clock to ensure that they make money. They're not in the business to put fights on because we want to see them. That's why we're not seeing the Crawford fight. They know we want to see it, but they ain't going to do it unless they make money on it. And
you telling me they can't make money on that? They're not going to make money on that.
They don't think they will, but they will. They don't think they will.
That's why it's all bullshit. It's front row seat.
Exactly.
Hey,
exactly.
Big Top Unbiased Boxing is on the panel. Welcome, King. You got the floor. What say you?
I was saying, like, in boxing, you eat what you kill. So, like, Crawford and Spence, I mean, they only could go off of, like, their previous numbers. So that's why they can't, like, make Canelo money. Even though we think it's going to be a big fight, but they ain't proved that they can sell. I mean, Canelo, they going to recoup on Canelo. Even if he don't crack $1 million, he sold, 800,000 or whatever at $80. I mean, you do the math. You know what I'm saying? I don't know what the math is offhand, but they recouped $50 million.
Much as 500,000. But go ahead. I'm sorry.
I mean, they said 800,000. And I figure, they ain't gonna give my nigga another 50 million if they didn't recoup. Even if they only made 60 million, they still profited. 10 million more, whatever.
You talking a little low? Can you speak up a little?
Yeah, my bad. I said even if it wasn't 800,000, they evidently recouped their money to offer a nigga another 50 million.
I don't see how y'all see this.
2 times, 2 fights.
I don't see how y'all see this.
So you don't gotta crack $1 million. You don't gotta crack $1 million at $80.
You agree with this shit, Bo?
The reason why they offer him that because they already know Black versus Mexican does astronomical numbers. That's why they're offering that kind of money to fight like the likes of Charlo.
That's not always true though.
Yes. No, I mean, for the most part, it is. Especially on that level, it
What's
is.
what's the last Black versus Mexican that you saw
On
that
that
made that
level,
generated so much money?
on that level, and let's talk about it. The last big one was goddamn Spence versus goddamn Mikey Garcia. Mikey Garcia, I'm not really sure how many speaks Jerry Jones.
How many years was that?
I mean, that was the last fight, a big fight between
3-4
Black.
years ago. I don't know.
No,
I
I'm
don't
just saying,
remember.
like when we say Black versus Mexican, there's a guarantee. I know that's the
Oh,
stereotype, but it doesn't guarantee
oh,
anything.
we're talking about a certain level. Let's not be.
I'm just saying, like Tank
Stop,
4, Eastside
no,
Cruz,
stop
right?
the
What did that
semantics.
generate?
Stop the fucking semantics.
No,
Stop
I'm
the
just saying, you
motherfucking
said Black
semantics. You know
versus
exactly
Mexican,
what
I
the fuck
was
I'm
gonna give
talking
you the
about.
numbers.
Stop the semantics. You know exactly what the fuck I'm talking about.
But with Esau Cruz, he wasn't that known yet. You know, y'all know for me, and I gotta take credit for it. I was talking about Esau Cruz since last summer. Everybody like, who is she talking about? Shut up. But you
I
know,
can
now
vouch for
y'all
that.
know
Miss
who
T,
Esau Cruz
he
is.
definitely was saying that, Miss T.
Oh, you remember me, Big
Yeah, he
Chop?
definitely was saying that on Barbershop Conversation.
Exactly. And won't they laughing at me?
Uh,
So we know who he is now. He was unknown. I ain't gonna say nobody. He was unknown, but we know who he is now, and his pay is going up. But just like on one of the shows, I think it was Bo help me out and Quentin help me out. Was it B Mac or E Thriller when they was talking about how did Cambosos go from 500,000, somebody we didn't know, until Tio to 10 million? Remember that?
Oh yeah, that's on B-Max show.
Because Miss T, the Australian government paid that money. They paid for that fight.
But they have not
already broke the whole
disclosed that.
thing down to her. I don't know
Nah,
why.
it's in the
Because
article. I showed that to B-Mac
Go from
that the
borrowing
Victorian
money from
government put
strangers
money down on George Cambosis.
have enough money to get home.
so
And in his very next fight, he got 23 million to fight Holyfield.
so hold on. So I got a question. So was because if you look up the write up, it say for tourism, and I know that costs money to build up your place to make it more invitable and pleasant for your tourists that's gonna come descend upon you and see the fight. Nowhere in their ledger or on the article did they say they gave Cambosos any money, and if they gave him money, they had to give the other fighter money. They didn't say that, and plus
They paid
Australia pay
the
taxes,
entire
so
purse,
they have
Miss
to
T. Miss
disclose
T.
that
They
shit.
paid the entire purse. The Australian government spent $15 million on the purse for that fight. The problem they have now is the Australian government said they're not paying for that fight again. That's why they're having the problems with the rematch.
I said
Well,
that about Shelton. I said that. I said, nobody wants to see that fight twice. Nobody wants to see another blowout. Who wants to see that fight? Nobody.
but my thing is, I'll believe it, Shelton and everybody, when they disclose it because they have tax dollars, and them tax dollars you got to disclose what you're doing with the people's money, and they haven't done that yet.
I'm gonna say this. And I'm gonna leave it alone. That's Australia. I don't know what they got to do over there. I know what they have to do in America. I don't know what they have to do over there.
Was a hero. Now I don't know what he is now that he got his ass whipped so convincingly, but at the time he was a sports hero there. So that's where people get confused. And Mayweather knew this because Mayweather would say he's got a country behind him. Well, when you got a country behind you, that means big money. And so that's how Cambosis went from being a relative unknown to getting that big purse. He hit the jackpot. This has happened a whole lot of times in boxing. That happens in boxing way more than a promoter overpaying somebody by tens of millions of dollars just because they like them. That never happened.
Well, let me ask you this, Jerry: has that ever happened in America?
Has what?
The United States government paid into the purse?
Hell no.
The fights there
America would never.
they don't do business like that here in the States. At best, you'll get a big casino pay a big site fee. That's why the fights happen in Vegas a lot because the casinos will pay a big site fee because they know they're going to get a lot of tourism and they're going to get people betting and it's going to generate big money for the Vegas as a whole. But and that's kind of what happens in Australia in a microcosm, because over there that they just do business differently. Same with Dubai, and people wonder why. If Dubai's got all this big, huge money, to pay for fights. How come there's not a lot of fights that happen there? And there's a reason for it. And the reason
it's about
is
the government that they have. This is why I said, when you pay tax dollars and you live in a free market like Australia, like England, like the UK, you're not going to spend your tax dollars and not tell the people what you're spending it on. And until that day come when they disclose that they gave Cambosos his check, but didn't give Devin Haney shit. You know, I just can't rock with it.
Devin Haney 2.8.
But you
They
said like
paid
that's
that's what I'm
America.
telling you. They paid the entire purse for the fight. The Australian government paid $15 million for that fight. So they're not going to pay for it again because the fight was so one-sided. They said they're not paying for it again.
Okay, so basically you asked the question, has America ever paid for a fight? They did what they did when they came down to Joe Louis versus the Russian cat. I mean, the German
when he fought Max Schmeling?
Yeah, that one, Smelling. Yeah. America did put some money in that fight, though.
Yeah, but that was in 1937. That's not happening today. That's not happening today. I don't care who the fuck it is. That's not happening today.
I never said it's happening today. I said, let me just answer the question. You're welcome.
Yeah, that was in 1937, and we was about to go to war with Germany, so it was the reason they did that.
Well, in the end of the day, I really believe that they pay what they want to pay, and it is based on the numbers these people can generate. But they pay what they want to pay. I can't see that Canelo have earned.
He generates triple what Spence generates, Miss T, and that's a fact. Canelo Alvarez generates triple what Spence generates, and that's a fact.
That don't mean that it equates to $40 and $50 million that they pay him.
It do, like Miss T, like say if I sold 800,000 buys, and then say if somebody paid them 20 million for Canelo site fee, or then they get another 20 million on endorsements, or 5 million, or 10 million. You know what I'm saying? They feel like you gonna recoup with that Canelo money. You know what I mean?
But Canelo's endorsements is his.
No, I'm not talking about his endorsements personally. Yeah. I'm talking about for the fight, not endorsements. I'm talking about
that's why when you
they're gonna get the ROI, return on investment.
The promoters get a piece of that endorsement money. Best believe that. There's multiple sources of revenue other than just the pay-per-view sales, and endorsements are part of it. Absolutely, the site fee is part of it. Absolutely. But the simple bottom line is, businessmen don't become rich like Al Heyman and like that by foolishly throwing away money. They just don't do it. That's not to say they don't make a mistake here and there and lose a little money here and there. Of course they do. That's any business. But they're not going to consistently throw tens of millions of dollars at something they know they're not getting it back at. They're not going to do it.
Well, Canelo ain't worth it. You muted, Shelton. I don't know why you mute yourself.
He's not worth it. See, according to actual numbers,
let me ask y'all a question. Do you think Errol Spence or Ugas saw any money from parking, concessions, merchandise, or anything that was sold at AT&T Stadium?
I don't know.
No. They ain't even make a lot of money on that fight.
No. Jerry Jones, whatever money was made, Jerry Jones made it.
The promoter.
So say if like Jerry Jones could have gave Al Heyman or whoever, like, you know what I'm saying, they could have given him 10 million or 5 million to have a fight at the stadium. You know what I'm saying? And then they also get that money on top of the pay-per-view money. Whatever the site
parking, the concessions, the beer, all that shit goes to Jerry Jones.
It's a business. It's like party promoting. It's like concert promoting, party promoting, all that shit the same. Like if you're gonna rent out a venue and then you're gonna sell beer and food and all that shit, you know what I'm saying? Or you gonna say you rent out a venue and
that shit.
All that money does not go to the owner though. No, that's why they rent it out. That's why they set a price. That's why they set a price. I guarantee, like, you know what?
Yeah, well, I'm not talking about the fighter. I'm talking about the person that's putting it on, not the fighter. The fighter going, like Canelo got his 50 million or whatever. I'm talking about like all the other money is like who unless like say like the site fee. Say whatever the site fee was, if Jerry Jones paid $5 million for the site fee. He gonna recoup all the money from the beer sales and all that.
Yeah, he get all that money back. Parking, all that
that's
shit's
the
his.
investment. That's the investment that he
That's
making.
not how you buy a fucking section. That's not how you buy a section. So when you buy a section, right? So that guarantees you so whatever vendors I put there and all that money, unless they have a different contract and agreement and like a number of agreements, a different contract, then you know what? Jerry Jones will recoup some of that money. But they set a price initially, and this is what it is. So you can have whatever, this many people, this many vendors, whatever the case may be. Now, if they agree to like having like, okay, so you get like 20% of the sales of the vendors and all this other kind of shit, that's a
He ain't gonna
different thing.
agree to that. He ain't gonna agree to that because that's his building.
What the fuck he agreed to? I don't know. You
That's
don't
his
know
building.
either.
Stadium. He don't
If
have.
you go
We
if you gonna
don't
put a
know.
fight
You
on in
don't
his
know.
building,
We
you're
don't
gonna
know if
pay
you
him
don't
to
know.
use his building.
He
We
own the
don't know
stadium.
if you don't know. We don't know if you don't know what the
I
fuck
can't
they
hear you.
agreed to.
That's what she basically
Huh?
saying. If you go to get a venue, that venue is going to say, what y'all talking about the site. They're going to say, yeah, I'm gonna charge you $5 million to use it. Well, the
No,
network
that's
gave
Right.
somebody gave the network gave somebody a budget, whether
I
it's the
understand.
promoter or the manager,
Right.
and that promoter and
Right.
manager gonna pay a person like Jerry Jones for the use of his facilities, right? Now,
Right.
that promoter
Right.
and manager do not own the parking lot. They do not own the concession stand. So Jerry gonna be it's a
Exactly.
win-win. It's a win-win for him, but that money
Right.
comes out the budget that network gave to the promoter and all that. Now the
All right, that's
promoter
Right.
is going to
yes,
pay all the fighters, and then
yes.
whatever's left, he keep it, and then he gonna take a cut of what he paid the fighters.
Yeah, no,
Exactly.
you right on
Exactly.
that hand. But
Exactly.
what we saying is the site fee. A site fee is where they pay them to have the event there. So like, say if Dubai paid fucking Eddie Hearn and them $80 million to have the Anthony Joshua fee there. It's not that Showtime is renting out Dallas Stadium. Jerry Jones is paying them the site fee to have the fight there. So he actually will pay them the site fee. You know what I'm saying? So just like how Vegas paid the site fee
First of
for
all,
Floyd fights.
Big Chop, it could be vice versa, baby.
Yeah,
But Big
it
Chop,
can
it could
be.
be
It
vice
can be. It
versa.
can be. I'm just saying what I was talking about. I'm just
It's
saying
a flip
what I was
though.
talking about. I'm not
Oh,
saying
Yeah,
yeah,
it's
the
flip.
I'm
people.
sorry,
Yeah,
Big
it's
Chop.
flip.
I'm sorry, baby. I'm sorry. But
It's flip.
it's a
I
flip
think it's
though.
flip.
Oh my
That's
God.
why. That's why. Listen. That's why the Saudis paid $80 million for this rematch. They
Mhm.
sold the rights of the rematch to the UK Sky Sports for $27 million. So they already got 25% of their money back because they own the rights to the fight. They bought it. Now we hoping in America that they will sell some rights to the Zone or somebody so we can see it because they have to do that. Eddie Hearn can't do it. The Zone can't do it. Nobody can do it. The Saudis have to decide to sell the rights to the Zone or whatever platform they want to sell it to. So they already getting their money back. They already got $27 million back from Sky Sports.
But here in America, let's say you're gonna put on the fight in Showtime, right? Showtime got a budget. Showtime gonna pay that promoter. Hey, do it on my channel. The promoter gonna take that money and they're gonna divvy it up. They're gonna go get the venue, get the cameras, get the ring set up. They're gonna pay for all that shit and the fighters' purses, right? Now, whatever's left over, whatever's left over, that promoter, he pocketing that shit. He smooth pocketing that shit.
And he's getting a cut of what I paid you. He getting a cut of that too.
He getting a cut of the pay-per-view, and everybody's gonna get a cut because they want to make their money back. But the point is, when you talk about networks, they actually divvying out money to have it on their network because if Showtime is doing great fights, people that's gonna bring subscribers. That's what Showtime making their money.
Exactly. And they make not just off the subscribers. They're going to make money off the ratings.
Yeah.
They're going to make money from the commercials. Like the commercials, if a Pepsi commercial come on, they might have paid them $1 million. They're going to make, I'm saying, way more money.
Yeah. So this is what I'm saying. The biggest fight that can be made, while they sitting here making excuses like, oh, people just going to steal the fight. When Tim Smith said that shit, or this, that, and the other. That can be the same for Canelo.
Yeah, but you only go
they,
off of you only go off a person history. So if
I
you know,
don't
like
see
that's
how
like Miss T,
Canelo
like if
makes
I
40
loan
million.
you money, right, and I
And
know you
history
good for paying
shows,
it back, right?
and what my
If you
man
loan
is saying,
if you loan your cousin
history
money
shows. I hate
and
to
you
say
know they
this
pay the
on your
money back, right?
platform. I hope I don't fuck
You
it
gonna
up.
have no problem. You gonna have no problem letting them borrow money because they gonna
But
pay it back. But
history
then you got
shows.
another
I hate
cousin
to
that
say this
you
on your
know
platform,
that nigga never
but
pay you back.
history shows that Mexicans buy fights. History shows you that.
And history shows,
It's not
That
about
Shelton,
niggas steal
Mexicans.
fights.
that niggas,
It's
that
not
Steal
about
fights.
I
Mexicans.
hate to say niggas,
It's
that
about that
black
we know
people are the
Mexicans buy
biggest
Canelo
consumers
fight.
in America across the board and
Mexicans
But
don't
everything.
buy
not when it comes
Pacquiao
to
Joe fight.
boxing, Miss T. Not when it
Not
comes to boxing.
necessarily. They can't
Not when it comes
qualify
to
that.
boxing.
You can't qualify that.
Yeah, I
You
can,
only
because I
see,
done been
you only
places.
see, you
I done
see
been
what's
places.
in the
Listen,
stadium.
listen. I done been places. It's a fight coming on. People having a fight party. I say, okay, well, I'll pitch in $15, $20. We can order the fight. Nah, don't worry about that. We gonna stream it.
But here's the thing, Shelton. Can you qualify every person who buy a pay-per-view, whether they Mexican, black, white, whatever?
He cannot. He cannot.
So we
That's what
can't
I'm
say
saying.
that.
It's not based on. Like
But that's what they.
ethnicity. It's
But
not based on ethnicity. What I'm saying is because it's just based on the person. Like we know Canelo sell. Like we knew
He does
Floyd
not.
sold.
That is false. That is false.
He
False.
does sell. It doesn't matter if you don't
They're
like
not
it or not. He
paying this
does
guy
sell.
$50
But
million
I
for
don't like the
nothing.
motherfucker either. But
He
the
does
motherfucker
not
sells.
sell.
They're
You
not
look
He
at
paying him
does.
$50 million for no reason.
D-Ray, what's up, baby?
For all that, they would just give everybody $50 million.
Are you talking about?
White folks, look, Destiny. I don't know much. But
You
one thing I
don't.
do know about white
You
folks in business.
don't.
What I do know,
Shit.
I do know about white folks in business.
Let me talk,
White
Shelton.
folks is not in business to lose money. White folks is in business to make money.
Shelton,
That's
let
why
me
they're in business.
Shelton.
Shelton, let me talk.
That's why they're in business.
White
Let me
folks
talk.
will bite their nose off to spite their face too for their beliefs. Over
No.
business.
Y'all,
If you look,
I get it. I get where y'all coming from. I get where y'all coming from, and I hear you. But
if you look at
these motherfuckers is not giving this dude
if you
$50
look
million
at
just
Bob,
because they like him.
okay,
That's
let me
what
ask
y'all
you this
saying.
question.
That
Let
boils
me
down
ask
to
you
what
this
y'all
question.
saying, and that's just not true. That's
Hey,
just not true.
look,
They're
hey,
not giving this
Shelton.
dude $50 million because they like him. They're giving him $50 million because they feel they can get it back.
Could Bob make
That's
a
right.
lot of money with Terrence Crawford if he promoted him right? Could he?
Yeah, he could, but he's not going to do it.
He bit his nose off despite his face, even though he's all about the money.
No, that was Terrence
Bob is
Crawford
not going
by
to promote
himself.
anybody.
Like if he was just if he was big enough, Bob would have put the money into him.
No business is perfect. You don't make money on every single deal.
He invested in him. He lost.
I'm a business owner myself, and I can tell you, I take jobs where I have a 30% profit margin. Then sometimes I'll take jobs where I got a 12% profit margin. Some jobs I do, and if I miscalculate, I've broke even. I've even lost money on jobs. That's how.
Yeah. Sometimes you take the job just to get the job, just to keep the lights on.
When you're a businessman, and you ain't gotta be a white or black, you could be a black businessman. It's about making money. Bob Arum ain't perfect. He don't get it right every time. What has BBC got right with Gary Russell? Gary Russell could probably be a top 10 pound for pound fighter, but they ain't done shit for Gary Russell.
But talking about Bob, Jerry, you got that.
How much? Okay, talking about Bob, how much money did he lose on Tyson Fury? How much money did he lose fucking with Tyson Fury?
For me, he's losing a lot of money.
A bunch.
But he still will pay his ass though. He's still gonna pay him. What's up, Destiny?
Just over talking me or whatever.
No, go ahead, Destiny. Go ahead, Destiny.
That's a sentiment. If you ask the gate sales, he's always underperformed. And we don't really know what pay-per-view numbers do because they cannot be fact-checked unless you're breaking fucking records. I've already explained that 1,000 fucking times, but let me keep repeating myself 1,000 more times. So honestly, we don't know what the fuck Cinnamon does. But
take the pay-per-view numbers away.
Let me finish.
Good.
But we can be realistic and be very realistic. I can guarantee you he's not doing nowhere near 500,000 some pay-per-views in America. Not in America.
What is he underperforming to? You saying he underperformed? What is he underperforming to?
Get sales. They take it by. Did you see his last night get bevel? Into the fucking stadium room? You're fucking welcome. You're motherfucking welcome. The fuck?
It doesn't matter what happens, as long as they're able to recoup their money. It doesn't matter what it look like. How many?
That's
If you
like
take pay per view away,
the zone is in the red for over $1 billion. The zone is in the red for over $1 billion. Why do you think they were fucking send him out of his fucking contract initially? Because he kept trying to fight losers like the average children do, the whole Smith family from England. He wanted to fight everybody nobody ever heard of. Rocky Philippines.
Jared, you all right over there?
No, that's not how Canelo got out. Canelo got out. Listen, Canelo was getting paid. Listen. So listen, they didn't want to pay Canelo $30 million, right? They didn't want to pay Canelo $30 million to fight anybody, right? He get out his contract and then you pay him $50 million to fight anybody.
And do it again. They're just not that stupid. If they was
that don't make sense.
Just shut talking. Shut talking, Barry. Shut talking. Shut talking. Shut talking. Shut talking. Nobody's listening to you. Nobody's listening to you, sir. Nobody's listening to you. Nobody's listening to you. Nobody's listening to you. Nobody's listening to you.
Once in a while,
nobody's listening to you. Nobody's listening to you. Nobody's listening to you.
The way that
nobody's listening to you.
The only
nobody's listening to you. Nobody's listening to you.
Fight extension.
Why are you still talking? Nobody's listening to you. Wait, don't get Shelton. Shelton, keep talking, Shelton. Talk over by Shelton. Talk over him.
Fought on Davin.
Just talk over him.
Hold tight, yeah.
Do not like that.
The money on them fights, ain't no way they would have gave them $160 million.
Right. Anyway, Shelton, keep on. Shelton,
business. A little kid with a fucking lemonade stand knows they got better business savvy than that. You get in where you fit in.
I don't like the dude either. I'm be honest with y'all. I don't like the dude. I don't like the way he moves. But the motherfucker makes money, man. You can't deny it. He makes money.
He does not live in his own country. You know what? The Errol Morales of the world. Who's the Caesar dude. Juan Marquez. It's been several that spoken out against the way he
Barrera don't like him. None of them like him.
I'm gonna prove the point.
That shit,
I'm gonna prove the point. Then we gonna shut. Hey, I'm gonna prove the point, and then it's over 3 hours. So I'm gonna say this: Julio Cesar Chavez Jr. Tell me where he's worth paying him the money that they pay. So don't. This is why I say don't tell me that they don't overpay people. That's all I was saying. They overpay.
Yeah, they do.
They want to overpay. It is not always about the business. They are willing to lose money because ain't no way in hell Chavez Jr. was worth no goddamn money. This man has made millions.
You're wrong about that. They're not in the business to lose money. What do you think? They're businessmen.
Chavez Jr., then that was a bad business move. And they continue to do it.
They in the business to make money. They're not fans.
Why did HBO go out of business? Why did HBO go out of business? They tried to put it in the fucking triple G and they lost all their money. What are you talking about, son?
Go back and get it wrong again at the risk of tens of millions of their dollars.
God, this dude is a complete fucking idiot.
Who you are. Chavez Jr., what you don't understand in Mexico, where right on one of the top sports. They got boxing.
I gotta learn how to take the villains out there.
Main sports.
I know.
And they support boxing, and everybody knows that. And Chavez was an icon, and his son
Chavez
his name alone carries a lot
Fuck
of weight.
that, Jerry. Stop capping for.
We know.
Stop.
Tim Zoo
over.
Tim Zoo is just in Australia. He's popular just because his dad was senior. I mean, whatever.
Mayweather didn't make a whole lot of money because he came from Roger and Mayweather Senior. He had to make his from the mud.
That part.
Exactly, because he wasn't that big. Because if Floyd Mayweather,
his dad, if Roger was.
Put it like this: if Sugar Ray had a son, he would have been able to make money off of just his pop name.
On a pedestal. I'll tell you another one made a lot of money. He didn't throw it in your face like Floyd did, but Oscar De La Hoya. Oscar De La Hoya was getting $30 and $40 million a fight.
Was the man
endorsement
because he had the complexion for Bob.
Huh?
He had the right complexion for Bob.
Well, I mean, he's Mexican American. He was a gold medalist. He was a good-looking guy, and he was a hell of a fighter.
Selection for the
It
protection.
wasn't Bob. It wasn't Bob that made him, Miss T. It was the Olympics, the gold medal, and women.
I'm not
Women bought
saying,
Oscar's fights.
hey, so I'm not saying that didn't factor in, but you know, he was caking for Mayweather. I mean, for Canelo. I'm sorry, Oscar. He was caking for Oscar over Mayweather all the time, and that's what
Yeah, because Oscar was the golden boy. He was the gold medalist that we watched come up from 11, 12 years old on ABC until he won the gold medal. That's
Bob
why he was
had
caking
that
for that dude.
policy that he had, and Bob do that. I'm not
But
hating
hold
Bob.
on, Miss T. You gotta
But
think.
that
Oscar
didn't
De
really
La
work
Hoya.
for Oscar
De La
because
Hoya
Oscar
started
fought
his
everybody.
career.
You can't take that from Oscar, Miss T. Oscar fought every goddamn body.
Oscar De La Hoya
Everybody.
was boxing since 1992 at top rank, and Floyd Mayweather came out 4 years after the fact. So Oscar had a head start to begin with, and he was lined up with great fights off the jump too.
But it came a time, Bo, that Mayweather was just as good, if not better, and Bob preferred to spruce up Oscar, and Mayweather, he was like, just wait, I'll give it to you, just wait.
Because you gonna
And
go with
Bob had that
the
policy.
person that's making you
Like
the
he
money.
did Bird versus
You don't
Pacquiao.
want if you
Exactly
know
how he did
Oscar
Bird
is
versus
making you a certain
Pacquiao.
amount of money. You don't want Floyd to derail it yet until he
But
gets
you
to the
know,
point where
Floyd
he
can
can
make
make
that
you that
money.
amount of money.
Floyd has proven that he was worth it. That's
No, I'm
my
talking
point.
about at that
But
time.
Floyd,
At that
but
time,
be
At that
honest,
time too.
Miss T. Floyd wasn't shit until he fought Oscar.
Yeah, you want to try to milk the
Nah, I
money.
can't give you
He
that.
wasn't
I
shit
can't
until he
give you
fought
that
Oscar.
shit. I
That
can't give you
Oscar
that.
fight made him a superstar.
I
That's
can't
the
give
fight
you
that
that
made him a
shit.
superstar.
Zach
That's the
Judah?
truth.
No,
That's
I
the
can't
truth.
give you that,
Zach
Shelton.
Judah?
Floyd
Gotti?
wasn't selling. Floyd couldn't draw flies to shit until he fought Oscar, and that's the truth.
Floyd has
Once he
some
The
fought
great
only fight,
Oscar,
fights.
he blew up.
the only fight Floyd sold out more when he fought Oscar is when he fought Gotti, and that was really Gotti fans.
But this the point. Floyd had some great fights before Oscar.
Yeah, but nobody watched him.
Right. That was
But nobody watched him.
what Floyd said. Floyd said
Oscar De La
Bob
Hoya,
wasn't
Oscar De La
promoting.
Hoya was the Ryan Garcia. He was the Ryan Garcia back then.
That's another great example, Bo. Why? Tell me why Ryan Garcia is a millionaire off of boxing.
Because of the women. They
It's the
love him.
women. The same thing they used to love Oscar De La
The
Hoya
women
back in the day. It's the women.
and social media.
Oscar had crossover appeal. He had
Nigga, Ryan
Mexican
Garcia
fans,
got like over
Mexican
10
American
million
fans,
followers.
and a lot of American fans. And he had
And
a lot
Ryan
of
don't
women.
fill
I
out.
remember
Ryan
watching
don't
his
fill
fight,
out
and there'd be a
seats.
lot of women in the crowd at his fight.
And Ryan don't sell out
Oscar De La
seats.
Hoya was also a gold medalist.
I don't know. I think Ryan does sell out. He be having teenage
He
girls
just saw
dying over him.
Miss T. I hate to break this to you. But this weekend he just sold out the Staples Center. He just sold out the Staples Center.
Ryan Garcia.
As a superstar.
Ryan Garcia.
He did not sell at the Staples Center. Do you know
Yes, he
how
did.
big the Staples Center is?
They sold it out. The tickets are not available. Go look it up. They sold it out.
Let's see. Did we not
What's up,
say
Dustin?
that the
Roll
so-called
it out.
sold out, the Staples Center's gold?
Ryan Garcia last
He
fight he
sold
sold
out
like
a
13,000 tickets.
He sold out a section of whatever they decided to rent out of how many seats.
His
And
last
we
fight
don't
he sold
know. We
13,000.
don't know neither. We don't know. So he did not sell out the whole Staples Center. You're fucking welcome.
Virtuoso. Thanks for
Sold
coming
out
in the
what he needed to
building.
sell out.
Welcome to the building. He said, why did Floyd Mayweather pleaded with his supporters not to steal Tank versus Isaac Cruz pay-per-view? Everybody should plead, but you know what? Here's the thing. I can give you a good answer. Why would Canelo even plead with somebody? He gonna get a check for $40 million. He don't need to plead. He don't need to plead. Why was Earl Spence trying to market something at that time? I forgot what fight, but he was trying to say, if I'll sign this glove, for a winner and give it off as a raffle or something. Why he need to do that? Because if you gonna pay these guys decent money,
oh shit,
you think they're gonna bust a grape to try to get people to come in? They don't care. Why would I care if my guaranteed check is all that? I don't give a shit if Waldo see it.
Because you got to keep building it. You want your next check to be like that.
But you don't. But Canelo don't have to build nothing.
You got to keep building your fan base.
I get it that he got appeal. I get it, and I know why. And I love the fact that he's a proud Mexican, unlike Mikey Garcia, who keeps saying he white. You know, and then a segue before I get out of here, Jerry, is Mikey Garcia a white man?
He's an American.
He says he is, Miss T.
I know.
You know, here in the United States, we got multiculturalism. We got.
That's not what I asked you, Jerry. Stop filibustering. I said, is Mikey Garcia?
I'm just explaining. He was born in the United States, so that makes him an American.
Okay.
And that's how I roll. If you was born here, I don't give a fuck if your father was born somewhere else. If you was born right here, you're an American.
Did Jerry miss the question?
Hey, Jerry, that has nothing to do with race, Jerry. That has nothing to do with race.
He missed it.
Jerry, let me ask you the question again because I think you missed it. I asked you plain and simple. I ain't asked you was he American. We all Americans here. I asked you, was Mikey Garcia a white man?
I don't know. I don't know if he might have one white.
You don't know? No, he has two Mexican. He has two Mexican parents. I can answer that for you. Is he a white man?
I wouldn't say he's Caucasian, as both of his parents are Mexican. I wouldn't call him a white man necessarily. I'm not.
Oh shit! Technically, Canelo's white, right?
Yeah, he is. No, he's white.
He's Irish.
I wouldn't call him a white man. I would probably.
She's not Irish. That's not Irish.
He Mexican.
No, white man. That's not the real Irish. The real Irish is called law.
That's what I was asking, Jerry. I know he's an American. I ain't knocking Mikey Garcia. I just wonder why he put on his medical paperwork he a white man, because they specifically asked him what ethnicity do he belong to or his race. And you know, it's one race, y'all, to be clear, the human race. But here in America, we like to split shit up. So they put it on his paperwork that he's a white man. I just had to ask another white guy, is he white?
People are not a race, we're a species.
No, they're not. Jerry, you white. You know what's white and what's not.
Humans is a species. We're not a race. We're a species. We're not a race. We're a species.
And people from different countries can be Caucasian, and I just don't know if that's the case with Mexicans.
Well, if we gonna fiddle data with this, I'm a white woman with blonde hair and blue eyes.
I could be white too, then, right?
And
I'm white too.
That on all my paperwork.
If Mikey's white, I'm white.
Yes, and I'm gonna put it on all my paperwork, and I dare somebody to tell me different.
Yep. When they stop me, they tell the police pull me over, I'm gonna tell them I'm white.
Because the Garcia family, I don't think Mikey would be ashamed to be Mexican.
Apparently so.
But
why would he put white on his papework then?
Where did you?
Well, I mean, at the end of the day, Mexican is not a race either.
Yeah. But here's the thing, Jerry. He put it. It's not what we did. He put that.
Where did you hear that?
He released a paper of his medical thing. He was trying to prove something else, and we was on Barbershop Conversation. I don't know if you saw that, Big Chop, and everybody was looking at that thing. But Fred was trying to show something on his medical record, and I got stuck at the ethnicity question or the race question, and this one said white, and I was like, huh? Shit. In the history of America, though, I ain't never seen that shit. I was gonna say something else, y'all know, but I'm gonna be respectful.
Yeah.
But
yeah, I ain't no shit like that either.
I was like, what? People can do that? Because he
that part right there, like.
But I mean, I'm what somebody says one race. I believe it's a human race.
I ain't never heard the motherfucker speak Spanish one time. Every time I hear him, he sounds like a white man.
That's language, though. Spanish is not the original language. That's the colonizing language. That was the colonizing language. That is not their original language. So him speaking Spanish does not make him like Mexican. Honestly, does not make him Mexican.
You know what, Jerry?
That's European language. That is a European language. You're fucking welcome, Jerry.
But Jerry, you know what? If I would tell you like this, when I get
saying, so whatever she's saying, I can't hear it.
Jerry, check it out. When I get mad, I return back to my old language because I grew up very humble. I'm gonna say it nicely like that. But people say when I get mad, sometimes they can't understand me. You understand me on here, but I guarantee you, Jerry,
I can understand you. I can't understand the other gal.
But you know what, Jerry, you wouldn't be able to understand me if I get really, really mad, which I rarely do. I don't know what language I'm speaking. I'm speaking the language I grew up with. Does that still make me an African American woman, or that don't change shit?
Wait, Jerry. So what language is Spanish? What language is Spanish? Where does it come from? What continent does Spanish language come from? And what country does it come from?
I'm only getting part of what you're saying. Queen,
It
can you
comes from Spain. It comes from Spain.
What,
Spain's in Europe.
Spain comes from.
what
Spain's
language
in
does
Europe.
Spanish come from? I mean, what country does Spanish come from?
Spain.
And what continent does it? What country
What she's
does
saying
Spain
is,
reside
you chopping up a little bit, Destiny. Let me ask.
in?
Spain resides on the continent of Europe. It's a European continent.
Okay.
It's a
Hey,
European
it's a nice
country.
country. I've been there. It's a nice
And
country
it's,
too.
Yeah,
it's a
I've been there too.
it's a romance language. Me too. I lived there twice. It's a romance language. All
Yeah,
language
I love
is
Spain.
Arabic.
Spain is nice. I love the women too.
Look at you. You was one of those. You
said,
was
it's
one of
Spanish
those.
women are
women are
beautiful.
beautiful.
That's why I'm saying I don't know.
Anyway, back to the conversation. I'm
Jared,
not going to ask
I'm
the
gonna
same
go over
question.
there and look for
you gotta
some
stop
of the
that, Jared.
diamonds.
That's why I said we be precise on this show. There's no way in the history, and I'm just gonna go ahead and say it, Jerry. You understand? In the history of niggerdom, I can ever go out and say that I'm somebody other than black? Nowhere in
No,
this
you can't.
country.
You
Nowhere.
can't.
And since
No.
I can't do it,
He
nobody
can't do
else can. Is that fair,
Okay,
Jared?
well, I mean, you know, if you got your own beliefs and your own rules, I don't know.
Jared, that's
I'm
the
telling
rules
you, I
that they
don't know.
gave us.
I don't know if the Mexican race is considered Caucasian. You've heard that term before, right?
Yeah,
Not
but they're
yet.
not.
They're not a race. They're not a race. They're a
Is the
nationality. And
white
actually
well
considered
put it this way.
Asiatic.
Put it this way, is the white race considered Chinese?
Asian, no, but that's a
Okay,
different.
so the
Wait,
Mexican race is not considered Caucasian.
we know that.
It's very simple. It's very simple.
Hey,
So they're
we
a
was given my
nationality.
Tupac voice. We was given this world. We didn't make it.
They're a nationality. They're not a race.
Rules.
And they actually are considered Asiatic according to DNA or whatever. And I believe something like 94% of Mexicans, when they did their DNA test or some bullshit like that it went back straight to their Aztec ancestors. Most of them are not Spaniards.
They're
They're Puerto
Indians.
Rican.
They're
They're
Yeah,
Indians.
They're a
no, they're
combination.
Aztec.
They're Native Americans.
They're a combination of
They're different.
Spaniards,
They're Aztec.
Africans, and Indians. That's what make
Yeah,
Mexico.
they're Native Americans. Most of them are Native Americans.
Yeah, they Native Americans, and it all depends too because the race they really fall under, for some reason they list them under mongoloid, like a hybrid or something like that.
Asian. That's Asian.
I
Mongoloid
don't
is
know why,
Caucasoid.
because
You're going
because
to that old that German dude that had that thing. He had Negroid, Mongoloid, and Caucasoid. So that's what you're saying. So Mongoloid is Asian.
but I don't
Yeah,
want to.
but they like a hybrid. They a hybrid.
Yes,
So it's
they're a
Caucasoid.
combination during the era of encounter during the 1500s
Yep.
when the Spaniards and the Portuguese came over and conquered the Americas, which goes
Yeah.
from Canada all the way down to South America. Everybody on this side were native Indians, if that's the proper way to say it.
Yeah,
So
they're
it's
Native Americans.
it's
Asian and
a combination.
Caucasians have the Neanderthal DNA in them. According to science, according to white scientists, it's not black scientists, it's white scientists. According to them, Asian and Caucasians have Neanderthal DNA. According to them, Africans are the real humans. They have zero Neanderthal DNA in them. That's according to white scientists. This is not that's these facts. This is what they said. Y'all can go Google that for your damn selves. Go
Like
earth with that.
Speed said, Mikey Garcia is not black. If he was, he would sell more tickets from people who want to see him lose. American supported Fury more than American Wilder. Yeah, I mean, so Jared, a lot of factors. We will go ring around the rosy, but it's after 3 hours. I gotta shut it down. I enjoy all of y'all. To the people that's
All
not
right,
here,
Miss T.
D Young,
You know I got love for you, girl. I'll talk to you soon.
Big Chop, don't be a stranger. Come back.
Hey, no doubt.
But to Big Fish, D Young, DJ, my boy, and everybody, Bo, you my boy, and Destiny, that's my sis. Big Chop, you part of the family now. Everybody, okay, Big Chop, you
Big Chop
close
love
out.
me.
Give me your final thoughts, Big Chop.
Figure out.
We trying to hear you.
Yeah, great show, Miss T. I appreciate letting me get on the panel, and I had a great talking with you guys. Salute, Destiny.
You I love you,
Bo.
Big Chop. You my baby.
Yeah. Yeah, that's my final word. That's all I can say. Salute you, Miss T.
Destiny,
Great
what's your
show.
thank you, Big Chop. Destiny, what's your final thoughts?
Honestly, like you just said, and I love that you're so open to letting people like speak their mind or whatever. Even though some people be on here acting like complete jerks, like myself. But I
Stop,
love the
I was
fact that
gonna
you
say,
let me
stop
be a
talking
jerk.
about yourself. Let me get
Yeah.
you all the way straight. Go ahead.
No, I said that, let me be
Yeah.
a complete jerk. Yes, ma'am. Thank you.
Okay. Bo, what you got on it?
Hey, another great show, Miss T. Definitely respectful debates and stuff going on and stuff like that. Even though, me and DJ had a little debate, it was very respectful, and I appreciate that. I know he's a diehard Wilder fan along with yourself, but it's gonna be like a little disagreements, here and there. But at the end of the day, it's all love, you know what I'm saying? And definitely appreciate and always like coming to your show and have deep discussions and stuff like that. So appreciate you having me on.
I appreciate it. And Bo, we got a bond that nobody on this panel got. We shipmates.
Oh
Oh
yeah, oh yeah.
God.
We
Oh
shipmates for
God.
life. Jerry,
God.
last but not
Yeah.
least, what you got on it? And Jerry, let me know, were you ever in the military?
No, but I appreciate y'all being in there.
Oh, thank you, Jerry. What
I
you got
sure
on it?
do.
You
Thank
know
you,
we love
thank you.
you, Jerry, at the show.
I
So
wish
what you
I
got on?
would have went in the military. My father, that's what he wanted for me. I think my life would have been better. I mean, I got it pretty good. I thank God for what I got. I'm a hardworking man. I got a hardworking wife. But my old man, he's seen a military career for me, and I look back sometimes and wish I would have pursued that. So, thank you for your service.
Oh, you welcome.
Yeah, just thanks for having me on tonight. I love your show because, well, we all can get on here. Of course, we're going to disagree on stuff. And one thing about us boxing fans, even though there ain't really that many hardcore boxing fans, relatively speaking, and compared to other sports, we're some passionate motherfuckers
Yes,
when it
we
comes
are.
down to it. We love the fight game. I've been watching fights. My first fight I watched was Ali versus Spinks. Won, and Ali lost that fight. I was a little boy. I cried coming home with my father in the car. I was crying because Ali lost that fight, and I've been a fight fan since then. And even though boxing's a fucked up sport and it's corrupt, and the only thing honest about boxing is the fighters themselves, everybody else is corrupt, and we got to rely. And as fucked up as boxing is, as a final straw, we got to rely on casual fan interest to get the fights that we want, and that makes it even more fucked up. But I do like the YouTube channels because I have a hard time finding people to talk boxing with. When I try to talk boxing with people on the street, they bring up Holyfield and Tyson or Leonard and Hagler. They don't know shit about today's fighters. I can hardly find anybody who knows any of these guys. And so this is a good format to do it, and I love how you give people time to talk, and I'm just thankful if I have found your show. That's all.
Yeah, as much as we gonna thank you, Jerry, and as much as we gonna disagree, we still love each other. Virtuoso said,
Yeah.
"I agree, Miss T. I think Canelo is overpaid. The money Al Heyman was going to give Canelo for only 2 fights should spread and doled out to make big fights like Spencer Crawford." I agree. D. Ray said, "With passion, we finally agreed 100%." Yeah, we always come to an agreement in the end. Thank y'all for coming to the panel and everything. Thank y'all for sharing this time with me. And you remember, I always say, what do I always say, y'all? When you know better, you do
Love,
better,
peace, and
right?
blackness. Love, peace, and
No,
blackness.
no. I said, when you know better, you do better, right? So, until tomorrow.
You love a catchphrase. I'll give you that.
Yeah, I'm old school, Jerry. I'm that 70s baby. I be hanging on to them principles and cliche. Tell about it, Bo and Destiny. Y'all 70 babies. Yeah, y'all know we stuck on them cliches.
I'm 80, but I'm barely an 80s baby. I was born January 24th, 1980. So I barely
1980.
made it to the 80s.
Okay, 70s was on time. That was the
First
decade.
of all, 80s.
Vote, I gotta get her all the way straight.
Yeah, 70s. I came up in the 70s. I was born in '69.
Hey, 69 always on time. That's what they used to say. But
Yes,
the '70s was probably the best fight era too, if you think about it.
It was. It was. Sugar Ray Leonard went to the Olympics in Montreal. Ali was at the tail end of his career, but he did some good fights before he hung it up for good. 80s was a good year.
In the early
80s,
70s, Ali was on top, and of course you have Frazier and the heavyweight.
That's
the
my
golden
favorite
era of the
fighter.
heavyweight division.
Which one?
Frazier. Woo.
Really?
Smoking Joe, girl. Shit, what you gonna do with that shit? That motherfucker, that hopping shit, man.
That's your favorite fighter ever.
That's my favorite. That's my favorite heavyweight back in the day.
Frazier?
Because he don't look like his size and stature doesn't tell you that motherfucker gonna be who he is. And that's why I like him. I love an underdog or somebody who's gonna prove
Joe was
the
a
impossible.
badass. He just kept coming forward, and he was a tank. But the one couple of fights that Joe had, George Foreman whooped him bad.
He did. I didn't like that. I don't even like.
He was able to compete with Ali and the other heavyweights real good, but Foreman was just that was not his number right there.
Joe didn't have a good strategy for that. He should have roped dope, but I don't know. But anywho, not to
Foreman twice, I think.
Well, Spence like Joe Frazier, but Joe Frazier was a little bit more technical, a little bit more technically sound than fucking
I'm gonna point
Joe
this out
Frazier
to
Spence.
The Figueroa brothers. You know how Joe used to throw his hand on the side and move his head and shit? They try to do that shit. Anybody ever peep that? I peeped that. You're not Joe Frazier, Figueroa family. Let me lump all y'all in. But hey, good try though. But anyway, let me make sure I get all the text, the chat. Martin King Boxing, I didn't see you earlier. Welcome to the building. We about to close it up. Have a good evening, Miss T.
Hold on a second, Queen. You know who my favorite heavyweight is? I was thinking about this just the other night. Evander Holyfield.
I was watching. Mike Tyson for me. It was been Mike Tyson. That was the very first fight I've ever saw. I guess it was 1986. Somebody correct me. It was 1986 when he won his very first championship. Yes.
Bo, who you got? Your favorite heavyweight?
I mean, both of them was before my time, but it's a toss up between Joe Louis and Muhammad Ali.
Yeah, see, I didn't see much of Joe. I didn't see Joe Louis. I can't hardly comment on him or Marciano. I've watched some footage, but it's different when you live through an era. Holyfield at his prime was a bad man, and it was the quality of the fights too. Even when Holyfield lost, man, they just were excellent fights. I was watching the Bo trilogy the other night, and I just was thinking, man, these were some great fights. I mean, people know those are great fights, but when you go back and watch them, it's like, God damn. I mean, these were some great fights. Holyfield, you got to remember, too, was an undersized heavyweight. He was a cruiserweight.
Yeah.
But he was so determined and he was so badass that he could fight the biggest of the big guys. Because when he fought Bo was a hell of a bad man himself, a big power puncher, had good skills. And Holyfield was just standing there toe-to-toe, just rocking with him. Yeah,
but you know what it is, Jared? We like people who can do the impossible. But on that note, I ain't gonna linger too long because these 3 hours, boy, whoo, I don't mind doing it, but I don't want to overlap. There's other shows that's coming on, and I appreciate y'all coming through. And guess what? Y'all will see me tomorrow, and I don't know what I'm gonna talk about. But when you know better, you do better. Good night, Jared.
Love you too.
Love you too. All right, Bo, shipmate. You know you my boy.